Well, if that didn't get you excited for the Copa del Rey final, I don't know what will. Hello and welcome to Barça Live Match Preview Edition. We are 29 hours away from the Copa del Rey final, a Clásico final, and we are super excited. We have a lot to unpack here on Barça Live today. We'll be watching the team in the training session. We'll be hearing to some of the protagonists, some of the coaches, and I am very excited to be joined here in the studio by Pablo Bulls and Irati Vidal. Guys, how are we doing?
Yeah, doing well, very excited. I think this is the biggest game of the season so far, a Clásico Copa del Rey final. It doesn't really get much bigger than this, so really excited to dive into everything, discuss everything in the build-up. Should be a cracker.
Irati, we haven't been in a Copa final for 4 years. It's been 11 years since the last Clásico final, and we haven't won a Clásico final since 1990.
I think it's the year of just breaking all the records and breaking all those statistics that probably were not with the team in the last seasons. I'm starting to get nervous. I really want tomorrow to be today because, as Pablo said, I think it's the most important game we have ahead now, and we will have time to think about the rest.
Partido a partido, they say, right? Game by game, and the next game is tomorrow. 29 hours away, I say, from this Clásico, from this Copa final. And the first thing I'd like to do is to go to Sevilla, where Marc Brau is at the stadium at La Cartuja, where the final will be played. Marc, tell us the latest.
Hi Robert, how are you? What a weekend we will have here in Sevilla. What a day we have today and what a day we will have tomorrow with this incredible final Copa del Rey against Real Madrid, the second final against them this season. From the next hours we will have a lot of content live here from Sevilla, and in this position, I'm not in the stadium right now, but in this position we will talk with three important persons in the club. With our coach, Hansi Flick, and with two players. You're going to see which players will be. Of course, we will hear to the press conference official, but it's interesting also to listen to them in our microphone, in Barça One's microphone. You know that, as usually the team do in the game preview, for example, in a Champions League game, after the press conference, after the interview will be the time for the last practice before tomorrow's game. It will be in this stadium, very different, La Cartuja, related with the last time that we were there. It was in the final of the Copa del Rey in 2021. Barça beat Athletic Club Bilbao 4-0, but it was closed doors without public on the stand. So now it's time to celebrate that Barça will play this final, and maybe tomorrow that we will have another Copa del Rey for the club. As I said, in a few minutes we will talk with some players and with Hansi Flick, of course, and all the content will be available in this special program here in Barça One.
Thank you very much, Marc. Yes, coming to you live on Barça One on YouTube and on Facebook with this match day preview. 29 hours away. We'll be hearing from Hansi Flick. We'll be hearing from the players. And the latest news today is that our captain is back.
With an injury, you always suffer, but it was a 7 month that was very complicated in general, in many stages, not only in the professional but also on the personal level. It was very good to see also what I'm capable of, and I'm feeling better than ever.
The captain is back, guys.
That's great news. Like, even though I don't think we are going to see him playing tomorrow, just like for the team, for the experience, and also the calm that always Ter Stegen brings to the team, I think it's really, really good news for this last part of the season where we need everyone fit.
What we just saw was a teaser of the documentary that is coming soon on Barça One, of course, with an interview with Marc-Andre Ter Stegen and following his full recovery. Since he got injured on the 22nd of September 2024, 215 days ago, Pablo.
I know, a lot's happened since then.
Yeah?
What a great season we've had since then, to be fair to Iñaki Peña and Szczesny, who stepped in during that time. But I think, like Irati said, you have to remember this is a very young squad as well. Ter Stegen's experience, his leadership, he's the captain of this group. It was a big miss for Barcelona, especially with the way he plays as a goalkeeper with his feet. I think he suits the Barca style really well, and that's why he's been so successful over this many years. So I think it's big as well for morale to have him back around the group for a game like this. So I think it's great news for Barca. His recovery seems to have gone pretty, swimmingly, to be fair. So that's great to see, and we're looking forward to seeing him back on the pitch soon.
And of course, now the questions will start coming. Well, does he start? Does he not? Is it in this game? Is it in the next game? Will he start from now until the end of the season? But the questions that come with the position, because if it was any other field player, there'd be no question about it. If it was a situation like when Gavi missed a year, he came back into the team gradually. He was able to come on as a substitute, then eventually get his first start. Here, it's a position in which it's one or the other.
Yeah, and also because it's this part of the season where you have the travel there, like we can start seeing it. But I think it's a nice problem that Hansi Flick has, because if we wouldn't have these questions, it would mean that our goalkeepers were not doing and performing well, and Szczesny is really performing well, and having this problem is probably for Hansi Flick it's a mess, because now he has to decide, but also it's a great problem that you have these massive goalkeepers to choose.
Well, if you want to know what the situation is and get some clarity, we've got Hansi Flick in the press room in about 5 minutes, so we might get some answers there.
Yeah, let's see. I agree with you, Irati. I don't think it'll be tomorrow, but you never know. You never know. I think he's got a massive decision to make, Hansi Flick. I really do think that. And when you bring a captain back, a goalkeeper who I'm sure Flick will see as his number one, but like you say, it's such a delicate position with you either start him and he plays 90 minutes in a semi-final or a crucial La Liga game, or you don't start him. And he's got big decisions to make there in that regard, Hansi Flick, but let's see what he goes for.
We'll see what Hansi Flick goes for, and of course we can play Guess the Lineup later on. Of course, a lot of possibilities. No Alejandro Balde, no Robert Lewandowski, Ter Stegen back, Dani Olmo is in great shape, Ferran Torres is the top scorer of the Copa del Rey. So there are a few question marks, so a few ways that Hansi Flick could go, and we've got 29 hours to speculate. Yeah,
there are. There's some big injuries, there's some big players out. I think Lewandowski is obviously a massive miss. He's got 40 goals in 48 apps this season. Alejandro Balde, I think, is crucial to the way Barca play, and it's also a big miss. But credit to the players that have come in. How good has Ferran Torres been in the Cup this season? I think Gerard Martin has been a really good deputy too. Credit to him. Not an easy leap he's made this season. And Olmo being back is great news. I think he's wonderful, Olmo. I really do. I think he's just like creme de la creme, really. So I think he's going to be a big player in the final.
I have to go to Sevilla because Marc Brau is standing next to Frenkie de Jong.
Al costat d'un dels capitans del Barça y que guarda un bon record d'aquest estadi, porque en este estadio ya sabe lo que es ganar una Copa del Rey y además marcando. Estamos al lado de Frenkie de Jong. As usual, we will start the interview in English. Frenkie, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Well, only 24 hours to go to the final. We talked after the game against Atletico, and you said it's a Clásico, always 50-50. But now the game is ready to start. How do you feel?
Good. We're looking forward to the final. That's it. We're looking forward to the game.
For the moment, we beat them in the 2 games before, but I suppose that you're going to say that tomorrow it could be different. We don't want to be different, but how important would be that games that we played before?
I think it's not influencing the game we have tomorrow. Every game against Madrid is a special game, and it doesn't matter in which situation each team arrives or anything. It's always 50-50. I feel the Clásico is always 50-50, so tomorrow will be like that again.
You know how to play that kind of finals, but what is the most important for you? You're coming in a big confidence, being leading the league in the semi-final of the Champions League game, so what has to be the secret for tomorrow's?
No, we have to do what we're doing, what we're always trying to do. playing our game, being at the top of our game, and then hopefully we will win tomorrow.
Te hago las dos preguntas en castellano, Frenkie, tú lo decías, no sé hasta qué punto también nos da confianza, aunque
Thank you.
será
Just
diferente,
spoke
el
about
saber
that.
que hasta el momento contra ellos las cosas han ido bastante bien. Me imagino que esto
Up
también
until
a
now,
ellos
things
les
have
da
gone
más
very well, of
motivación. Esto a
course.
vosotros os tiene que dar igual.
I'm sure you still have motivation
Yo
for this
creo
game.
que más motivación no se necesita.
I don't think you need any more motivation for a game like this, like a Clásico. I think both teams have a lot of motivation.
Las últimas dos partidos.
I think
pero sí
the
que
last two games are there, but
como ellos supongo también, entonces
we're ready. I'm sure they are too.
¿Cómo acaba?
But look, let's
Hago la
see
última, te lo
how
comentaba
tomorrow
ahora,
goes.
Frenkie. ¿Qué recuerdas de este estadio? La última vez que viniste, ganaste.
Frankie,
bueno,
what do you remember
habéis
from this
perdido
stadium?
Una final de Supercopa, pero luego una final de Copa con un gol tuyo. No sé.
Last time you were here, you won the cup, you scored.
No, de esta final de la Copa, buenos recuerdos porque.
Yeah, I have good memories of that final. It was the first title I won with Barça.
Entonces, buenos recuerdos de eso.
So I have great memories of that.
Entonces, a ver cómo ha quedado.
No, I'm
Mucha suerte para
see how
mañana,
it is.
Frenkie. Gracias.
Gracias.
The words of one of our captains, Frenkie de Jong. He knows how to score in this stadium. It was in the final against Athletic in 2021. I com heu pogut escoltar, doncs Frenkie de Jong, un dels capitans del Barça, que està confiat en que l'equip serà capaç de poder fer un bon partit demà. Aunque también explica Frenkie
Frenkie de Jong, confident that the team can do well tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Mark. Juggling all the languages there, Mark Brahau, and you, Pablos, standing in there as the translator.
Chasing around, chasing
Well, we've
around.
got three shows going on at the same time
Indeed.
here at Barça Studios. We've got the Catalan, the Spanish, and the English, and language lessons.
Indeed, yeah. Nah, but good to hear De Jong, who's having a great season too. I think since he's come into the team for Castelló, and confident too. Good memories from the last time he was here as well.
And Frenkie de Jong, who won that Copa del Rey final, which we'll talk about later in 2021. Frenkie, in the squad list that was released earlier this morning, let's get that on our screens. There it is, a squad list which includes, guys, Marc-Andre ter Stegen and all of the rest of the available players. No Balde, no Lewandowski, no Cazador, no Bernal.
I mean, it's the best we could have. The best news is having, of course, there Marc-Andre ter Stegen, like being the leadership of this crew going to Sevilla. We have to think, as we said before, step by step. And about the questions, Mark, you were saying before, I think there is no questions, Mark. Probably Gerard Martin will take the spot of Alejandro Balde. And I think the only one might be if you start with Ferran Torres or Dani Olmo, or you save Dani Olmo for the second half because he can be crucial there.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I wonder if he could go for the false nine up front with Olmo. I think he said the other day, Flick, that he tried it in the cup game against Betis actually in the round of 16. And then obviously you pad out the midfield a bit more with a Fermin or a Gavi in there. It's definitely an option. But I think Ferran's joint top scorer in the cup, if I'm not mistaken,
and he has
with Endrick.
the striker of the cup.
Exactly, yeah. So I'd back Ferran up front. I think he gives us something different up there too. So look, there are big absences, and they are naturally big absences, Balde and Lewandowski. There's no getting away from that, but it's a strong squad list, and Barca have coped really well with injuries this season, so I'm confident.
Well, there's the squad list with ter Stegen, Cubarsí, Araujo, Íñigo Martínez, Gavi, Ferran, Pedri, Ansu Fati, Rafinha, Iñaki Peña and Pablo Torre, Christensen, Fermín, Pau Victor, Lamine Yamal, Olmo, Frenkie de Jong, Koundé, Eric, Szczesny, Hector Fort and Gerard Martin. Those are the players who have travelled today, and presumably the injured players will travel tomorrow to join the rest of the squad and see if we can win this second title of the season. The team travelled earlier on this morning, took the flight to Sevilla, and in just a little while they'll be training next to the pitch. There is Marc-Andre ter Stegen joining the squad, just behind Wojtek Szczesny, and it must be such a great moment for him just to be back with the guys, really.
Yeah, you could see in his face, in his smile. But I also really like the relationship he has with Tech, because it has not to be difficult. And the press conference that Szczesny was doing the other day in the Champions League, talking about ter Stegen and how good he is for the team, and he would understand any decision for Hansi Flick. I think that makes it easier for Hansi Flick's decision. And look, they're elegant because it's an important match tomorrow.
It's so important that the relationship between the two goalkeepers, I think, because, or three, four, whatever it is, but they train together every day. And I know from the outside it's like they're against each other.
They are the little family inside the family.
Yeah, exactly. They are apart from the group, and they do have to have a good bond. So I think it's crucial, even though as fans we're seeing like who gets the starting berth. But I think for them to have a good relationship is absolutely vital. I really do.
Ronald Araujo getting off of the plane, and he will be the player who will be talking in the press conference, which we'll be listening to in just a couple of minutes. Questions, of course, in the defensive line. Is it Araujo? Is it Cubarsí? Is it Íñigo Martínez? We'll see who Hansi Flick picks to start tomorrow against Real Madrid. Araujo, formerly known as the Vini stopper.
Yeah, we saw those clásicos with Xavi Hernandez. He was the key for Barça, like doing it great in the clásicos. I'm not sure if Hansi Flick will go with that because Koundé has been the player with more minutes this season and he's doing amazing. But it's part of those good news we were talking before when their coach has really struggled to decide which players are going to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like a good situation to have a player like Araujo available.
Yeah.
I think we've had relatively a setback for this season when we've been able to, Cubarsí and Íñigo Martínez, I think, have made a great pair. I'll give credit to Araujo when he's come in because he had the big injury. Like I remember I think it was the second half of the semi-final second leg against Atleti. I thought he was excellent. In that second 45 minutes when Atleti were piling on the pressure. And like you say, he's been a big player in past games against Real Madrid. Araujo.
Well, he did come on in the Super Cup semi-final as well, in the Super Cup final rather, because Íñigo Martínez got injured. Right, he stepped into the press room, so let's listen to what Ronald Araujo has to say.
Esta final de Copa y contra un rival como el Real Madrid. Gracias.
Playing the cup final one against Real Madrid too.
La verdad que
Hello, good afternoon.
Contento por el partido de mañana.
We're very happy with the game that we have tomorrow. Another final this season, and that's important.
Y obviamente por lo que significa el partido jugar contra nuestro mayor rival.
It means a lot to play against the biggest rival, and we're very motivated.
Què tal, Ronald? Aquí al fons, Ramon Salmorri de Catalunya Ràdio. Esta temporada le habéis ganado todos los partidos al Real Madrid.
This season you've won every game against Real Madrid. I don't know if maybe you feel like favourites going into a game against Real Madrid.
Yo creo que será un partido totalmente diferente a lo que hemos jugado.
I think it will be a different game compared to the others we've had this season.
Un partido más.
Just another final, another game. We're very motivated.
A buscar con nuestras herramientas, a buscar el resultado, a buscar el título, que es lo más importante.
With the tools we have, we want to get the title.
Muy bien y con ganas de poder ganar mañana.
And we're really looking forward to it.
Hola, Ronald. Aquí, Marta Ramon de... Aquí. En 2 setmanes us jugueu la possibilitat de guanyar un triplet. Com arriba
within 3 weeks, within 2 weeks, you're playing with the possibility of winning a treble. How is the team physically and mentally taking on such an important part of the season?
El equipo está muy bien,
The team is doing well.
En buena dinámica, eso se ve.
We're on a good run, and you can see that.
Con respecto a lo que decide el triplete, somos conscientes de lo que podemos,
With regards to
de lo que
the
somos
treble,
capaces de poder conseguir, pero vamos partido a partido.
it would be great to get it, but we're going to go game by game. That's what the coach says, and what the team wants to do this season, game by game. Now we want to try and win the final, and then we'll think about the next games. That's the mentality that's led us to where we are.
Para mañana y yo quiero poder buscar el título, que es lo más importante.
We're looking for the title tomorrow, and then the next.
Hay un poco bastante ruido con el árbitro.
There's a lot of noise surrounding the referee.
Saber a través del vídeo de su televisión. No sé desde el Barça cómo se vive.
I'm not sure from within the Barca camp where you think there is pressure from Real Madrid towards referees before the final.
La verdad que no lo vi eso.
I didn't see that. I was told that you would ask, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that in the team. Being a referee is very difficult. We have to respect and understand what they do, but I can't really give any other opinions.
Ronald, aquí estoy. Germán García, Radio Nacional. Ya habéis jugado 2 veces contra el Real Madrid esta temporada.
We've already played twice against Real Madrid this season. 2 wins, 2 big wins too.
¿Qué crees que se puede dilucidar para un lado o para otro? Gracias.
What do you think could be a key in terms of tomorrow's game to get it to one side or the other?
I
think it will be a very different game to the other ones that we've played this season. We're prepared for any given situation. We'll trust our football, try and be protagonists with the ball. It's half and half. We'll try and go and get the game, and and win, which is the most important.
Buenas tardes, Ronald. Alfredo Martínez, Onda Cero. Os vais a enfrentar con el Madrid prácticamente en el título de Liga, en la Copa.
You're up against Real Madrid, basically for the league title,
Este partido es clave
and now the cup too. Do you think this game is crucial to set up what's to come this season?
¿Estás de acuerdo?
Ganar un título siempre es importante, y más jugando contra
Win a title is always important, and to do it against your biggest opponent is great, but this team's mentality is different. We want to win tomorrow. But if that doesn't happen, we'll just keep fighting, we'll keep working. We're first in La Liga, we're in the semi-finals of the Champions League, and we'll try and get as many titles as possible.
Hola, Ronald, aquí detrás. Alejandro Segura, en directo para Radio Marca. Sois un equipo muy joven. Tú estabas en la última final que
You're a very young team.
hace 4 años contra el Athletic Club. Estaba Frenkie, estaba
You were there
Pedri, estaba
4 years ago in the
Stegen.
final alongside
Pero
Frenkie
claro,
de
hay muchos
Jong,
futbolistas muy jóvenes
Pedri,
que afrontan
Stegen.
una final de este tipo. Ya se ganó la Supercopa hace unos meses. Pero
But you're
¿cómo
still a
estás
very
viendo
young squad.
a los Cubarsí,
I know you've already won
Lamine,
the Super Cup.
Fermín,
But
Gavi,
how do you feel
todos
about the likes
estos
of
futbolistas
Cubarsí,
tan jóvenes que
Lamine,
están creciendo,
Fermín,
están ante un escaparate
Gavi?
tan grande como una final como
How do you think they'll be coming into it in such a big game?
La verdad que me sorprenden porque tienen una
Truth be told, they surprise me.
They
have a mentality
que no te juegan una final mañana, tienen una tranquilidad inmensa.
in which it doesn't seem like they're playing a final tomorrow. They're very calm.
Que son chiquitos en la Masía, ¿no? Entonces me sorprende mucho la gente
And
que
they've had
sube,
that
me
since
sorprende mucho la
they were kids in La
mentalidad
Masía.
de todos, no solo de
I'm surprised by their
Cubarsí,
mentality.
de Fermín, sino
Cubarsí,
también,
Lamine, Fermín,
Héctor Ford
as
la verdad que
well.
son increíbles, la gente de La Masía.
They're all
es
incredible.
increíble, el trabajo
The
que
players
hacen
from La
también es
Masía are
increíble,
incredible.
porque llegan arriba y
The work
no
that they
tienen
do
miedo.
is fantastic because when they get to the
Y
top,
bueno,
they're ready.
La final que jugué yo no teníamos público también, era un poco diferente.
And the final that I played didn't have fans. Tomorrow will be very different.
Contento y motivado
I'm very
por
happy
eso,
and
contento
motivated
por
because of
ello
that as well.
contento por el club y,
I'm happy for the
y bueno,
club,
ojalá que mañana podamos ganar,
and hopefully
adelante
tomorrow we can win.
gente, darles una alegría.
Hola, Ronald. Aquí, Elena Condis de la cadena COPE, 25 de abril, finalistas de Copa del Rey, mañana el Clásico.
The 25th of
líderes
April.
en Liga y además
You've got the cup
semifinalistas de
final
la
coming up
Champions.
against Real
Si te
Madrid. You're
dicen
top of the
esto en el mes
league.
de agosto,
You're in the semi-finals of the Champions League. If they told you that in August, would you have believed it?
No, a ver, cuando empezás una temporada siempre
When you
querías
start the
todo, y más
season,
jugando en el
you
Barça,
always
¿no?
want to go for
Que te
everything,
exige
especially
esto.
when you're playing for
Pero
Barça.
obviamente que al principio no
But
te esperás que
obviously,
puedes llegar a estas
we
circunstancias.
didn't expect to be in these circumstances,
pudiendo ganar todo, que es muy
being
lindo,
able to
¿no?
win
Muy
everything.
lindo. Contentos,
And it's great.
contentos por
We're very
eso,
happy.
contento porque este equipo se lo merece.
This team deserves it.
La gente nuestra se lo merece.
Our people
han pasado
deserve
por
it as
mil cosas
well.
estos últimos años y,
We've gone
y
through
que el equipo pueda estar en
a thousand
esta
things
situación ahora es una
these last
alegría para
years,
ellos.
and
También la gente del club, la verdad que hay que
it would
reconocer el
be
trabajo que
great to win
vienen
it for them.
haciendo, que creo que es muy bueno también este último tiempo y bueno, contento por todo ello porque
And
la
I'm
verdad
very
que
happy
creo que
for all of it.
merecemos esto.
We deserve it.
Hola, Ronald. Aquí Joel Gadea per BTV. Como capitán y voz autorizada y experimentada del vestuario,
As a captain and one of the leading voices in the dressing room, have you maybe tried to hold off all of the excitement ahead of these big games? Or maybe you're trying to encourage them ahead of this important part of the season?
Un poco más de motivación, ¿no? Yo soy mucho de
I think I'm
estar hablando,
motivated.
Está guiando y creo que motivarlo para seguir
I like to motivate
en esta linda dinámica que
the teammates to
consciente de la
continue
responsabilidad que
on the run that we're
que es,
on,
¿no? Representar este club y en la distancia
being
que estamos,
aware of what it
pero
means to
nada,
represent this
motivarlos
club.
a seguir adelante
I'm
porque
very
venimos haciendo las
motivated to
cosas muy
keep going because we're doing things very well.
Ronald, aquí. José Álvarez para el Chiringuito. Está claro que las palabras más repetidas en los últimos días son que sois favoritos.
It's
para
true
el
that
partido
in the
de
last few
mañana,
days,
y otra palabra
everyone's
es
saying your
triplete.
favourites.
¿Cómo caen estas palabras en el vestuario de forma positiva?
How do these words, you know,
¿Cómo afrontáis llegar así al final
how are
de
those words
temporada,
taken in the dressing room,
y con el triplete a la vista?
being favourites with a treble in
La
sight?
verdad que jugamos contra el Real Madrid, ¿no?
The truth is that we're playing against Real Madrid. They're a great team. They have great players.
Muy difícil.
It's going to be a very difficult game. I understand that people can say that, but we know that we're facing a great team tomorrow.
Y obviamente que queremos buscar ese título, ¿no?
And we want to go for that title. And in terms of the, with regards to the treble, we just want to focus on
todo el tiempo
have fun, train, play.
como te digo, de la responsabilidad que es.
We're aware of the responsibility we have.
La verdad que muy bien, muy tranquilos.
But we're calm right now.
Y Joan Poquí de Mundo Deportivo. ¿Qué es lo más peligroso para usted del Real Madrid? ¿Algún jugador?
What do you think is the most dangerous thing about Real Madrid? Is it a player or something else?
Son un gran equipo en general, tienen grandes jugadores.
They're a great team in general.
De mucha calidad
They
en
have
todas
quality
las
players in all of their lines.
Muy rápidos arriba y muy determinantes. Entonces creo que
quick players up front.
Cómo van a plantearlo, pero bueno, nosotros
We'll see
a nuestro fútbol,
how they prepare for that final, but we'll stick to our style.
Mari Carmen Torres del diario Marca. En el Real Madrid tienes un buen amigo tuyo, compatriota, compañero de selección. No sé si has tenido
In Real Madrid, you got a good friend from the national team,
algún pique, algún reto.
Fede Valverde.
¿Cómo habéis vivido los
I don't know if you've spoken a little bit before this game.
Claro, sí, Fede un gran amigo mío.
He's a great friend.
No hablamos ante lo
And we haven't talked.
Estar ahí metido, concentrado. Ya después
We're just concentrated on what we have to do.
Pero bueno, contento por Fede porque es
But I'm happy for Fede because he's a great friend and a great player.
Buenas tardes. Jordi Blanco de ESPN. No sé si lo han ensayado, si el míster le ha dicho alguna cosa. O lo puede
I don't know if the manager said told you anything, but
jugar en necesidad mañana como lateral izquierdo.
But are you potentially ready to play as a right back tomorrow?
No me lo quiero nada, pero yo estoy preparado para todo. Creo que
No one said anything, but I'm ready for anything.
Contra Mallorca jugué lateral izquierdo. Yo estoy
In a game in La Liga against Mallorca, I played as a left back, so I'm ready. I'll play wherever the coach wants me to play.
En donde estoy más cómodo, pero bueno, si
They know where I'm most comfortable, but if they ask me, I'll play, of course.
Haremos las dos últimas preguntas, Laia.
Hola Ronald, aquí Laia Cervelló de The Athletic. El Real Madrid llega en una situación complicada.
Real Madrid come into the game in a complicated situation. They're not sure what they're going to do with the coach. They've been knocked out of the Champions League.
Puede ser como un rival herido. Gracias.
How do you see them as a rival?
Es lo que te decía, Real Madrid es un
what I was saying before. They're a great team.
Con grandes jugadores, también
with great players.
Un gran mister, ¿no? Que ha ganado
They
lo
have
que
a great
ha ganado
coach that has won a lot.
¿no? Entonces hay que respetarlos.
We have to respect them.
Y nosotros, como te digo, con nuestra herramienta a buscar el
And with our tools, we have to go and try to win the title.
En directo para el Twitch de Gigantes. Me gustaría saber si crees que independientemente de si se gana o se pierde mañana, el Barça puede estar entrando en una nueva era. Tenéis un equipo
maybe whether it doesn't really depend on whether you win or lose tomorrow, but does it feel like you're entering a new era under Hansi Flick? Do you feel like Barca are the best team in the world right now?
Me conocen, yo soy más de ser más humilde, ¿no?
You know me, and I try to be more humble.
Pero sí que tenemos un gran equipo que
we have a great team.
Muy bien.
We're doing things well.
Esta temporada, sino
not
que
just
creo
this
que
season.
Futuro será un equipo que
also for the future.
Y entonces es lo más contento por eso, contento porque
and I'm happy because of that.
El club se lo merece, nuestra
the
gente
club
se
deserves
lo merece.
it, our people deserve it.
Y bueno, buscaremos mañana el título para darle una
and
alegría.
tomorrow we'll look for the title to try and make them happy.
Gracias.
The words there of Ronald Araujo in the press conference. Guy is a Ronald Araujo who's ready to play wherever Hansi Flick asks him to.
Yeah. Go on,
we were talking here, and they asked Ronald Araujo there because I think we all remember that Araujo performance against Vinicius. It is true that Vinicius maybe is not playing in that exact position right now as he used to play, because now with Mbappe they also have to adjust their players. But I really like the words of Ronald Araujo, because he feels like, as a captain, as a leader, how he motivates the team, talking about the youngsters that they are kicking, and also being humble. Like, we don't have to talk about the treble, we have to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, mostly humility and just focusing on the game by game. Let's focus on tomorrow. Be respectful to our opponents.
Yeah.
Yes, they've been eliminated from the Champions League. Yes, they haven't had a great run recently, but they're a great team and have quality players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think naturally at this stage of the season, when I think you responded to one of the questions saying, of how good of a position Barca are in, naturally people are going to talk about the treble. It just comes with the territory, really. But Barca and Araujo, Flick, everyone I think associated with the club will just be focusing on this game. And like you say, Robert, it's against a Real Madrid team who are always very dangerous. I know we've scored a lot of goals against them this season. I know on paper, on the pitch, we've been the better team than Real Madrid. I don't think many people can argue with that. But this is a final. This is Real Madrid-Barcelona. A lot can go out the window.
It's you almost forget that Araujo missed the first 3-4 months of the season with an injury, and I was referencing before the day of the final of the Supercopa. Araujo started from the bench. Íñigo Martínez got injured in the 25th minute, and Araujo had to come on in a high-stakes situation. Yes, we won that game 5-2.
Just coming back from the injury.
Just coming back from the injury. And yes, we did win 5-2. At that stage, I believe the score was either 1-0 Real Madrid or 1-1.
1-1, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think he has been performing well all along the season, because like what we have right now in this team is like, I don't remember any bad performance from any player alongside the season. All the ones that has come in the other day, we were seeing in the semi-final against Atletico de Madrid, Fermín, who maybe didn't have that many protagonists, came in, and I think he did a great game in this part of the season. He has come in several games and performed well. We have seen it with Ferran, that maybe in other seasons was not performing that well. So that is also a relief for the coach, and it's one of the things that Hansi Flick has achieved, that any player can come into the game and perform well.
Indeed. I mean, we've seen it in the last few games as well. A lot of rotations, and the team has performed well. Anyway, we did get the question in the press conference about the left-back position with Alejandro Balde out. It's natural that press fans will speculate. I, for one, think there's really no question to be asked, because Hansi Flick has shown that he's going to trust the players that he's trusted all season. And when Balde's not been available, Gerard Martín has been the choice. I don't think there's any scenario in which Hansi Flick gets inventive tomorrow.
Also, he rested the other day.
Yeah, I don't think so. Obviously, Hector Fort puts his name in the hat in a way. I mean, I don't think Araujo will play left back, that's for sure.
We haven't seen it.
No, exactly.
I don't know if you want to test something
on the
day of a final.
I think Araujo said he played left back a bit against Mallorca.
In a past season, yeah. I mean,
okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I remember that at all, not on Tuesday anyway. But
right. Sorry, Pablo, I had to interrupt because Hansi Flick is in the press room, so let's go and listen to what he has to say.
Bona tarda, Hansi. Marta Mauricio, de Barça One. Aquesta és la primera final de Copa del Rei des del 2021, però la primera amb aficionats des del 2019. Com d'important és per l'equip disputar aquesta final i davant de tota l'afició que s'ha desplaçat aquí a Sevilla, que són milers d'aficionats?
How important is it, has this final for the club and for all the fans that have come here to Sevilla to support the team?
It's always better to play with the fans than without the fans. So it's a final and against Real Madrid. I think the stadium is unbelievably good. So it's really we have to enjoy. We have to enjoy the day tomorrow. We have to enjoy the match, and of course we have to give everything. So we fight for that. I said before, we started a journey in the beginning of the season, and we want to fight for every title we can win, and we have the opportunities to win 3 titles, and this is our goal. So, but I know. Or we know it's difficult because we play against Real Madrid and they have a fantastic team.
Ramon. Sí, Ramon Salmurri, de Catalunya Ràdio. Aquí al fons tinc la sensació que és la primera vegada aquest gran partit i tothom us dona per favorits, que fins ara
feels like this is maybe the first time that you guys have come into the game as favourites against Real Madrid.
La teva xerrada, la teva conversa amb el
I don't know if that changes your pre-match team talk.
Si condiciona una mica o no. Gràcies.
With such a young team too, does that condition it a bit?
Like I said before, so we have to enjoy it. We have a really young team, and also this is a great experience when they play this final, and we play against one of the best team in the world, and final is different. It's not like this is the favorite or he's the favorite. So it's for us it's like we want to start. We want to start the match tomorrow, and we want to fight for this title.
Hola, Hansi, aquí Marta Ramon de RAC1. Al Metropolitano, quan us veu classificar per la final de demà, deies que somiar estava permès. Quan aixeques la mirada, veus aquestes 2 setmanes que us venen en què us ho jugueu absolutament tot. Com creus que afronteu la pressió i com veus el vestidor de preparat per...
How do you see the dressing room in terms of receiving this pressure and ready to take on this final?
So I think it's something to when I see
Bien, cuando veo cómo está entrenando el equipo, cómo se esfuerzan, cómo están descentrados, eso me da confianza y me permite creer en estos jugadores y ver que ellos también ven que tienen la confianza y yo creo en ellos. Es así. Nosotros lo damos todo, tenemos una idea muy clara de cómo queremos jugar.
We've got a really clear idea of how we want to play.
Lo visteis también en el último partido contra el Mallorca, que jugamos también muy bien con la pelota, pero luego también con el Celta pudimos remontar, también fue una remontada increíble. Es decir, que luchamos siempre hasta el final. Y mañana será lo mismo.
Mister, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes, Adrián Albets de la cadena SER. No sé si lo ha visto, pero hoy hemos asistido a una rueda de prensa donde el árbitro principal de mañana, Ricardo de Burgos Bengoechea,
in his press conference today,
hablando de la dureza y la beligerancia que hay contra el colectivo arbitral, porque dice que eso les afecta a nivel familiar. No sé
what's happening to referees right now, and he's saying that that's actually affecting them at a family level too.
En torno a los árbitros y también la posibilidad que ha deslizado el Real Madrid de cambiar incluso los árbitros del partido de mañana.
Have you heard about Real Madrid even asking to change the referees for tomorrow's game?
No sé qué decir. Para mí es un deporte, es un juego, es fútbol, no es más que eso y es nuestra responsabilidad proteger a los jugadores y proteger a todo el mundo en esta situación, en este ambiente. Yo creo que no está bien. Por supuesto, sobre el terreno de juego hay decisiones y las emociones entran en juego, pero después del partido hay que dejarlo todo atrás. Así que, sí. Quiere ver a los jugadores, cómo juegan, cómo actúan, y necesitamos, por supuesto, a los árbitros. Y creo que ya lo dije hace muchos meses, que tenemos que cuidarlos también, porque no podemos no respetarlos, sino que hay que cuidarlos y respetarlos, todos los clubes y los entrenadores, pero también los jugadores. Eso es lo que creo que tenemos que hacer.
Aquí, buenas tardes, Joan Poquí del Mundo Deportivo. El hecho de que sea una final y contra el Real Madrid hace que pueda modificar en algo su planteamiento habitual.
Bueno, no, siempre adaptamos el plan de partido en función del rival, por supuesto, y mañana será igual. Pero nada más que eso, es fácil hacerlo así.
Hola, Hansi, ¿me ves acá? En el medio. Juan Irigoyen, del Diario del País. Yo sé que no más a decir, pero probablemente mañana el 9 sea Ferran Torres. ¿Cómo le cambia a sus compañeros y a ti también que juegue Ferran Torres de 9? ¿Les pedís algo diferente a Lamine, a los interiores, a Rafinha?
No, creo que Ferran también en los partidos de Copa ya ha demostrado lo bien que puede jugar como 9 contra el Betis, contra el Valencia. También estuvo muy bien allí jugando con él como 9 y creo que también es una muy buena posición para él. Y por supuesto Lewandowski no puede jugar, pero Ferran también sabe cómo jugar en esta posición, cómo queremos que juegue, y no afecta por lo demás ni a Lamine ni a Rafinha. Tienen que adaptarse a que haya otro jugador ahí, sí, otro compañero con otros puntos fuertes quizás, pero estoy encantado de tenerlo ahí.
Hola Hansi, buenas tardes. Elena Condis de la cadena COPE. Usted todas las finales que ha disputado como entrenador las ha ganado. Ancelotti también ha ganado muchísimo, pero hay esa sensación de que mañana él se la juega más que usted. porque el Barça llega en un gran momento y el Real Madrid con dudas y sobre todo el foco está puesto en el entrenador. ¿Cómo lo ve? Gracias.
I think it's the same for him and also for me. We want to win this final, and this is why we are coaching. This is our job, to prepare the team well, that they are able to win. And also for our fans, it's I think 26,000, more than 26,000 will arrive here and will support us, and it's a big thing.
Alfredo. El mister Alfredo Martínez, Onda Cero. Ustedes le ganaron 0-4 en el Bernabéu al Real Madrid, 2-5 con 10 jugadores, mucho
Beat Real Madrid
tiempo.
4-0 at the Bernabeu.
¿Tiene la sensación de que le tiene tomada la medida al Real Madrid o que puede tener algo que ver este partido con los dos anteriores?
Does it feel like you've got the upper hand over Real Madrid, or that this is going to be a different game?
Now we are in the yeah, we have to enjoy the now. But I also know I said it before. Also, they have a fantastic team, and they are also able to hurt us. So for me, it's important that we make our job. So we play how we want to play. We show this on the pitch, and we fight for this title. So this is what I want to see from my team.
¿Qué tal, mister? Muy buenas. David Bernabéu, Diario Sport TV. Hay mucha ilusión y veo, sinceramente, mucha euforia en la calle. Hoy ha llegado el presidente esta mañana al hotel.
Especially on the street, I see right
now. Ha sido una auténtica locura. La gente
at the hotel today, it was unbelievable.
Le pedía no solo que ganara al Madrid, sino que goleara al Real Madrid. ¿Esto a usted le preocupa? O sea, ¿le gusta que haya esta euforia o le preocupa?
Maybe it comes from the amount of goals you scored against Real Madrid, but do you like that much excitement and joy before the game or not?
No, for me it's like also I want to have like my team act like this, that we have respect for the opponent, and Real Madrid is a great club, and also I say it again, with a great team, and we have to respect them. But we want to fight this. This is this 90 minutes or maybe more. We want to win the title, and we want to give everything for that. So it's like that. It's not about the other things.
Joel Gadea. Hola, Hansi. Aquí. Bona tarda, Joel Gadea, per BTV. No sé si m'ho diràs, no sé, de fet, si ho tens clar,
Not sure if you'll tell me or if you even know yourself.
A l'esquerra del partit de demà, amb la baixa de Balde, i en el
cas
que
ho tinguis clar, serà Gerard Martín,
el lateral esquerre titular demà?
Will Gerard Martín start the game tomorrow?
We'll see tomorrow.
Germán. Sí.
Hola, mister, ¿qué tal? Germán García, Radio Nacional. El hecho de que este partido caiga a pocos días de la eliminatoria de semifinales de Champions contra el Inter, ¿eso es positivo o negativo en la mentalidad y en función de lo que pueda pasar mañana?
Is that positive or negative in terms of what could happen tomorrow?
No, we will see. We can speak after the match, but of course it's very positive to play a final. It's a great opportunity also for every player, but also for the team to improve, and this is what we want to do. We want to learn every day, and this is a great day for tomorrow.
Juan.
Mister, aquí Juan Bautista Martínez de La Vanguardia. Lamine Yamal cumplirá 99 partidos mañana con el Barça si juega, que lo normal es.
Lamine Yamal is going to play his 99th game with Barça tomorrow if he plays.
En las semifinales de la Eurocopa, contra el Borussia Dortmund, contra el Atlético, los dos partidos contra el Madrid. ¿Qué tiene de especial
He scored against France in the Euros, against Atlético de Madrid, against Real Madrid too. What is it special that he has in these big games?
He's an unbelievable player, also with his age of 17. And I think for tomorrow he prepared. Also, you will be surprised when you see the training now. He has something special for you. So.
Gracias, buenas tardes.
We're intrigued. There is the stadium where the team will be training in just a few minutes, and the banner at the top that says 125 years of history for Football Club Barcelona. And Apparently, Lamine Yamal has a little surprise prepared for us.
I know. I'm quite excited because do we remember the little Blaugrana braces that he had in the Clásico?
Maybe it has something to do with the hair because he was wearing a hat.
Yeah,
he was wearing a hat.
It's got. I thought hair immediately. When I heard
it's not cold in Sevilla.
A cautious Hansi Flick, respectful of Real Madrid, regardless of the 4-0 win, of the 5-2 win. Each game has its own story, and Real Madrid are a team with quality players, a team that can harm you any given night. And Hansi Flick was asked several times about, let's call it, the euphoria within the fans, which I think is, well, I mean, something that we definitely deserved, and that it's something that's normal given the results that we've had this season. But at the same time, I'm happy that our coach is like, okay, let's just focus on the job tomorrow and let's not get caught up in this.
Yeah, also talking about learning, it's a super young squad, and he said like this is a great experience for them. We want to keep learning every match, and this is a great opportunity for learning because one thing is playing against Real Madrid, but the other is playing it in a final. And I think it's really important because as before, Ronald Araujo was asked about a new era. That also brings new opportunities for this young squad because I don't even know if Lamine remembers the last final Barça played in Copa del Rey.
I don't know. You speak of Ronald Araujo, and Marc Brau got to talk to him, so let's go and hear from Ronald Araujo.
Al costat d'un dels capitans, al lado de uno de los capitanes, alguien que sabe lo que es jugar.
Next to one of the captains here, someone who knows what it's like to win the Copa del Rey here in this stadium too. You know what it's like to win a cup final here. Tomorrow I'm sure you hope it'll be another one. Yeah, it would be an incredible day if we were able to do that, to win tomorrow. Obviously I did it 4 years ago, but it was during the pandemic, there weren't any fans. You know, to do it tomorrow in front of our fans against our eternal rival would be amazing. The calendar's being spoken about a lot in this final stage of the season, but you come into it in a really good moment. Semi-finals of the Champions League, top of the league, in the final of the Cup. Yeah, we come into it in a good moment, you know, apart from the injuries, Lewandowski, Balde, alongside the other ones like Castelló, who were injured earlier. But look, the team's in good shape coming into this game. But, you know, we're recovering well despite the fact that there's a lot of games. Against Mallorca, we were able to rotate the team a bit. And honestly, you know, we're happy right now. We've got an important game tomorrow. As the manager says, you know, we take things one game at a time. You know, we're aware that we can win 3 more titles, but we're just thinking about tomorrow. Do you think those 2 victories against them this season influence you a little bit? Maybe the Real Madrid, though, come into the game then a bit more hurt. Honestly, I think it'll be a completely different game to the 2 that we won against them. But look, as I told you, the team's in really good shape. We're really looking forward to it. A final against Real Madrid is always different now. Over 26,000 culés tomorrow. What's the message to them? Honestly, a message of thank you for them, to them for coming and supporting us. We want to do it for them, you know, not just for this season, but, you know, last season they didn't have a good time, obviously. And look, they deserve it. And we hope that tomorrow we can give them joy by winning the title tomorrow.
Las palabras de Ronald Araujo, las paraules del segon capità del Barça, algú que sap el que és una copa aquí.
Raul talking there to Ronald Araujo, who was also in the press conference. And Marc, the team is just about to go out and train.
Hi again, guys. We have just moved from the position of the flash interview next to the pitch, and I have to confess that I prefer this place. I will tell my cameraman Paul if we can show you some images, some footage of the stadium. Remember that this stadium, before tomorrow's game, they used to have some running tracks, and now it's quite different because they have new stands. Now it's the 3rd stadium, the biggest in Spain, after Spotify Camp Nou and Santiago Bernabeu. 70,000 people will be there tomorrow. They build up again this stadium here in Sevilla. Is bigger than Sánchez Pizjuán and than Benito Villamarín. And in this place, as we explained before, Barça beat Athletic Club about 4 years ago. As you can see also, Paul, if you can show the image, there's another interesting image here. 125 anys d'història, 125 years of history. This is the claim in the place where Barça fans will be tomorrow next to the team. So just in a few minutes, the team will be here on the pitch to do the last practice before tomorrow's game. Remember that we had good news today because Marc-André ter Stegen is ready to play. Hansi Flick wants to. And also with all the players, remember that for tomorrow's game, it's confirmed that Alejandro Valde, Robert Lewandowski, Marc Casado, and Marc Bernal are out of the team due to injuries. But the team was in the hotel after the arrival that was just in midday here in Sevilla. And now all the players are here. They're in the locker rooms just so in a few minutes they will go to the pitch. Everything is prepared. So stay here if you want to see at least the first 15 minutes of the last practice before tomorrow's game. The Clásico Barça Real Madrid here in Sevilla. We want to win again a Copa del Rey.
Thank you very much, Marc. Either Marbrau sprinted the fastest he's ever sprinted, or I think the Araujo interview was pre-recorded.
Yeah. We'll never know, eh?
We'll never know.
We'll ask Marc how quick he is.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, the team just about to go out for this final training session. And yeah, there were some question marks as to what lineup, what Hansi Flick will put out there tomorrow. Any thoughts? Shall we start guessing the lineup?
I think I only have one question, but we were talking before, and it's about if you put Dani Olmo in the beginning as a false 9, or you put Ferran Torres, but Ferran Torres has been the striker. He's the Pichichi in Copa del Rey, if I'm not mistaken. So I think even Lewandowski was fit. Tomorrow was a game for Ferran because he has been the striker of the Copa.
So the position that you're questioning is the forward or the attacking midfielder behind the forward?
I have,
right?
Yeah, both. Like because it will also depend. Ancelotti has been talking about that 4-4-2 for tomorrow. So I guess also Hansi Flick is doubting because we probably not going to see the same Real Madrid we saw in the Super Cup or in La Liga.
Pablo?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they'll definitely have some things to sell Madrid later. It'll be interesting to see how they line up 100% because I think they got the balance all wrong in both games against Barca. I think it's almost set what we're going to do with our lineup. I really do. I think Szczesny's going to get the nod in goal. I think it'll be Gerard Martin at left back. I think it'll be Cubarsí and Íñigo as the centre backs, not Araujo. I hear what you're saying. I like the Olmo false 9, and I actually think it would work against Real Madrid really well. I think he's going to go for Ferran.
Yeah,
and
because
Olmo behind him.
What I think is like Ferran does a lot of dirty work. And he can be key to get the players of Real Madrid tired, and then you bring in Olmo, and we know that Olmo is a special player that can take profit of that Real Madrid defense.
He's been playing
tired.
so well, though.
Yeah.
Surely he starts tomorrow. You'd imagine, but we'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see, because of course there is the question with the Champions League semi-finals coming up. Does that factor into anything? I don't think so.
It's
this is a title. It's
Yeah.
against Real Madrid. Chance to win something big. Chance to lift a trophy at the end of tomorrow night. So I don't think you keep the intergame in the back of your mind.
It's the closest you are for a title. Like you still have to play La Liga, even if you are leading La Liga, you still have to play 3 games to win the Champions League. So it's the closest you are. I don't think Hansi Flick will sing on that semi-final.
If I had to guess, my guess, I'm still ruminating, I'm still thinking, but I would say Szczesny, Koundé, Cubarsí, Íñigo, Gerard Martin, because I don't think that Hansi's going to get inventive there at left back whenever Balde's not played. Gerard Martin has played. Yes, he played Hector Fort in the other day in terms
also,
of
especially if they play with 4-4-2, because maybe he won't have that threat of Rodrigo.
Yeah. I would go Frankie and Pedri, of course, in midfield. Lamine on the right, Rafinha on the left. For me, it's Olmo as attacking midfielder and Ferran up front.
Yeah.
You could start Fermin, you could start Gavi, and save one of the more attacking weapons for an eventuality in the second half. That's also something that Flick might keep in mind. I want different options in the second half.
I know, for sure it is, because, yeah, you're right. Then, say you are desperately needing a goal, yeah, you'd usually be bringing Ferran or Olmo off the bench this season. If they both start, then that does take away that possibility. But I think the lineup you just said there, Robert, is the lineup that I think we're all expecting tomorrow. I think it's the lineup that Ancelotti is going to be preparing for tomorrow. I think it's the lineup that Hansi Flick will go for in the game. I really do.
Well, there they are on the pitch. Our players preparing for tomorrow's game. A light little warm-up before they get going and get a feel for the La Cartuja turf. Pedri, Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo, Eric Garcia, guys, who's been playing important minutes as of late. I mean, think of the way his season has changed.
Like in an amazing way. Like the other day, seeing Eric Garcia, it feels that kind of player that right now you can put anywhere on the field and he will perform really well. And I think it's all great to Hansi Flick, the fact we are seeing all the players have improved this season. Like they are like in a better version of themselves, and that makes the group more power.
That's something that we've heard all throughout the season. Hansi's gotten the best out of every player in his squad. We've seen a better version of Rafinha this season, Pedri. You've got Íñigo Martínez as well as one of the leaders at the back, Hansi Flick, who, by the way, we're still saying that he wins all the finals that he competes in as a coach. That's
yes,
that's a true statement,
yeah,
is it?
It is for
we
now.
hope he keeps that way.
I know. I was literally just thinking about that stat, when I saw him on the pitch, I just thought, come on, Hansi, like, I back you.
Get it done again.
Yeah,
I mean, wearing a hat, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
I know, I know.
And we said it before, it's not cold in Sevilla.
It is not cold in Sevilla.
He's wearing a hat. So you know what that tells us? That tells us he's keeping that for the game, like for the walking out the tunnel.
But you see these guys, like Lamine is 17 years old, and instead of being like nervous or worried, they are just different, these teenagers, and they don't have that pressure that some, I don't say, if they put me with 17 years to play the final against Real Madrid, I would be freaking out, and they're just thinking about their hair or having a nap before the finals, and that's great because that means they are going to go out on the field without pressure.
It is great. Yeah, just the point you're making, Robert, about how well Flick's used the team this season, I agree. I don't think not only has he made the starters, the individuals better, I think he's kept the whole squad involved really well. Yeah. And you can see frustration from some players growing in when they're not getting as many minutes. But
I think it's natural.
The competitiveness is there. I like that. There's hunger in that squad. That I want to be out there on the pitch. And that Mallorca game was a great example of the squad use this season, I thought. Making, 7 changes to the lineup at that crucial point of the season. And to play that well, dominate a team 7th in the league, that says it all for me in terms of like how fit and ready this squad is right now.
And I think it's one of the main differences Barça has right now with Real Madrid, because Ancelotti is a coach that always put the same 11. So when he had injuries, you see the players coming out from the bench and they are not in the same level as the others, and you see a big difference. And what Hansi Flick has done is give opportunities to all, kept them in a better version of themselves, and bringing that power to Barça. Like now we are going to face a final without Lewandowski, but with Ferran, and we are not worried at all.
No. Obviously, it was sad to see Lewandowski go down.
Yeah,
it's sad to see Balde go down. But you don't feel vulnerable with those absences. You feel like the team is prepared. You feel like every time that someone has had to come on, they've performed. And, I mean, we've turned this team into a goal-scoring machine. Nice sunny afternoon in Sevilla at the stadium of La Cartuja as the players start their warm-up preparations. 6 o'clock on the dot in the afternoon, which means we are 28 hours away from the final. The countdown is on. 10 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night, and a lot to talk about still. Later on, we'll be listening to Carlo Ancelotti and one of the Real Madrid players in their press conference, and we'll be checking out Real Madrid's training session. We'll talk about it later. A lot of question marks as well as to what Real Madrid might do in the game tomorrow. But guys, I wanted to talk about the month of April. This tomorrow is going to be the 8th game in 26 days of April. There'll be a total of 9 games played in this month. It's basically weekend Wednesday, weekend Tuesday, weekend Wednesday, and at one point, especially I would say maybe towards the Betis game, Leganés game, you start to think, am I seeing a little bit of fatigue in those legs? Then they come out and look fresh against Mallorca. I was looking at Jules Koundé just a minute ago and thinking, oh, well, he's going to have fresh legs. He didn't have to play against Mallorca.
Exactly.
Maybe he went to run to Sitges.
Well, yeah, that's what Hansi says. I mean, I have to play him because otherwise he's just going to run on the treadmill.
Yeah, but I think I'm not sure if it was fatigue. Of course, it is fatigue because it has been a long season, but also that the players are learning where to put more effort and which game they have to give 200% and which game they can play 70%. And I think the team has also learned that alongside the season. But it's great. We were talking about the calendar, about the fatigue, because it was a long time ago. We haven't come to April in this position.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think there were all those natural concerns when we saw because we've been so good and so fun this season, and then you draw to Betis and sort of, you know, don't play with that rhythm and that like intensity and that spark that you have been doing in recent weeks. And obviously the Dortmund game, I think the Dortmund game was more of a consequence of having a 4-0
I think that
lead.
one's an outlier in there.
I look at the Leganés, for example, the players, it's a little bit tired again. Lots of moments in the Celta Vigo game as well. I think the same thing sort of happened until we had to make the comeback. And that's where Hansi Flick stepped in and said, right, we're going to rest this. Like, I don't care how high Mallorca are on the table. I'm going to mix up the team here because I think these players need a bit of oxygen here. And look, let's hope they're all, you know, out there, you know, the Gala 11, if you like, you know, out there on Saturday night and all good to go. But that Mallorca game definitely gave me like fresh, like renewed, like not hope because I'd always had hope, but just like, you know, like prove to us that they still have that energy within them. I like that.
Plus, in a final against Real Madrid with the title at stake,
you don't need the energy.
I think the adrenaline just overpowers the fatigue if there is any.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And even if it's not a final, it's El Clásico, and you see, like, you take energy from you don't have. And I think it's what we're going to see in the last games that are missing with the semi-final of the Champions League and everything. It's those kind of games that even if you don't have that energy that you had like 3 months ago, you still show it because the energy and the motivation brings you there.
Ansu Fati there in the warm-up. He had some nice minutes as well against Mallorca.
Yeah, another good example of using the squad. No one expected that one because he's, you know, barely had a look in, especially in 2025. But this season as a whole, really, I think it was his second start of the season. Only started against Sevilla previously. So it was a big call from Flick, but I thought he looked good, Ansu. I thought he looked sharp, to be fair. And that's credit to how he's, you know, been training and, you know, not easy to be out the team for that long. But again, I come back to the squad as a whole and being ready to step into moments like that. And I thought Ansu did that really well alongside Hector Fort, who hadn't had many minutes either. So credit to both of those two. And it would have given him a bit of a boost as well, you know, to say, like, I'm part of this, you know, and I like that.
You mentioned, Irati, that Hansi Flick has, one of the things we've talked about this season is he's made most of the players better than they were. He's always get the best version of them. Another thing, and you referenced, Pablo, the Celta game. Another thing that Hansi Flick has done this season is make these players feel and understand that they have a chance until the very final minute of the game. That the games last not 90 minutes, that now they last about 105 because you've got the added time
tomorrow,
in the first
even
half
more
and the added time in the
last.
second half. I'm hoping we won't have an extra time tomorrow. But if we were to be in a situation tomorrow in which we go 1-0 under, 2-0 under, this team has proven that it has the tools to stay mentally strong, the Rafa Nadal mentality almost, to just keep going, take it step by step and get themselves back into games. We saw it against Celta de Vigo. We even saw it in the Super Cup final against Real Madrid.
Yes.
Mbappe scores first. We've seen it up to 4 times this season, and it's a record that Barca have gone down by 2 goals and come back and won the game.
You say it's about the mentality of the team. And in these all games, we repeat it. Like, if this would have happened 2 years ago, maybe we lose this game. And we saw it in many situations, the comebacks inside the game, but also like the comebacks like in Champions League and everything. It's all about the mentality that Hansi Flick has brought to this team. And it was like probably what we needed because, I mean, the quality was there. These players were there and we knew they were good. There was something about the mentality, and it's normal because we were coming from difficult years that the Hansi Flick has brought, and also to the fans. Like, you see the fans now that they believe until the end, like something can happen and we can win this.
A few stats while we're watching this training session. Barca and Madrid will face each other for the 260th time across all competitions in history.
That's a lot.
Yeah. This will be the 8th Copa del Rey final between Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Yeah.
They have the upper hand there.
They do, don't they? Yeah.
They've won 4 and we've won 3. The last time that we beat them was in 1990, as I said before. The following 2, 2011, 2014, sadly went Real Madrid's way. Barça are the team with the most Copa del Rey wins, 31 titles. We are the Rey de Copas, the king of cups. And we have won 9 of the last 12 finals. Not bad.
That's a good record, yeah. We went through a period of winning like every Copa del Rey final in a row. I remember, didn't we? And it was like it came around every year. We were like, we're in the final again, and here we go again. But I mean, I looked at that before the game as well, Robert. Like, this would be quite significant to beat Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final, eh? Like,
because
you know,
hasn't been done in a while.
That's what I mean.
It's like you win a title, but you also take it to them. Like, and I think for what it comes in the final matches of the season, it can be a boost of energy, incredible. Like for the semi-final, for the league, and for everything.
Just put it this way: in your lifetime, Barça has not beaten Real Madrid in a Copa final. I was 2.5 when Barça.
Was it 35 years? Were you saying though? Yeah.
Yeah, 35 years ago.
Yeah, that's
with Johan Cruyff on the bench. Johan Cruyff, who today would have been 78 years old, sadly passed away, and today is the anniversary, of course, of the Tito Villanova passing as well, sadly 11 years ago. More stats. Real Madrid and Barça have gone 16 consecutive Clásicos, and this is encouraging for tomorrow, without a draw in all competitions, or does that end tomorrow?
Wow, 16 is it? Yeah.
Yeah?
Wow.
Last one was a 0-0.
Yeah, at Camp Nou, right? Yeah,
yeah,
of course. Weird game.
That was a very weird game.
We just hope it's not a draw, so we don't go to extra time, because it's the last thing.
It could be like a great draw, right?
Yeah.
It could be like 2-all, 3-all. You never know with us this season.
Never in a Copa del Rey final have they gone to penalties.
Barça
and Real Madrid. Barça have, because in 1998 we won the final against Mallorca. Ruud Hesp saving the crucial penalty.
Not ready for penalties either. Our herd, no. Let's finish it in 90 minutes.
We've only gone to penalties with Real Madrid once, which was in a Copa de la Liga
we were not born.
In 1985, a competition that no longer exists. Regarding 2025, Barca have lost just 1 of 27 matches in all competition this year.
Yeah.
That was the Dortmund game.
Yeah, none domestically I saw. No. You know, none domestically, which is ridiculous if you consider that it's going to be May in a few days' time.
Yeah.
It's quite bizarre to say, actually. It's just been a ridiculous record. I think we've won 38 of the last 42 points available in La Liga. That's the reason why we've got ourselves back up there, you know. Like, credit to the players, credit to Hansi Flick. They turned things around completely in the new year.
After that shit November that the Hansi Flick said in press conference, everything has been rolling.
Honestly, it was a shit December as well.
Yeah.
Also, it was not a nice ending of year, but I think Barca has learned also to win without playing well, and that's something this team needed, because in those in November, December, we saw like games that Barca played well and they lost, and Barca has learned, and it's natural. And he was talking about learning tomorrow in a final, because they are super young, so they also have to learn like, okay, we can win without playing well. Of course, we prefer if they play well.
Before I continue with some stats, we saw Lamine Yamal still wearing a hat, so the surprise that Hansi Flick said that was going to be might be saved until tomorrow. And also, I want to address something that's going on in the chat. There is a bit of confusion. The game is not today, guys. The game is tomorrow. It's in 28 hours. Wherever you are in the world, 28 hours means tomorrow.
Maybe it's after tomorrow in some part of the world. Right?
If we're 28 hours away, in some parts of the world, it might be the day after tomorrow. Because let's say it's 11 o'clock at night somewhere in the world, it would technically be the day after tomorrow. Real Madrid have played 56 matches in all competitions so far this season. So far, they have lost 12, compared to just 2 last season.
Yeah. I mean, what a damning stat that is for them. But it really is. I mean,
what an incredible stat it was last year.
Yeah, to be fair.
To have just 2 defeats in one season.
Strong.
That team.
Yeah.
They had many injuries in defense, and that also affected them. The fact that Toni Kroos is not longer playing with them also like completely changed the way Ancelotti was playing with this team. And the arrival of Mbappé, that we all were scared, like it felt like Real Madrid was going to win everything without playing the games.
But barely getting off the bus.
And we've seen that football is more than a player, and the fact that they've been struggling to find the midfielder there. They are struggling, and it hasn't been the best season, and that's why in the press they're also talking about if Ancelotti will continue next year.
Yeah, it's been a tough year for them, all things considered. I think they are a bit of a wounded animal right now. I think it's fair to say that this is really big for them tomorrow. I think they'll be proper up for it, and I mean they would be anyway for a Clásico final. But there's an awful lot riding on this for Real Madrid. I think if we're looking at a pressure point of view, there's probably more on Real Madrid because all of their fans will be saying, "Come on, are you going to do something against Barca this season?" Because they have been ran over in both occasions now, and they've got an awful lot to prove. And you're right, Adati, they've got big injuries in defence right now. They really do, and I think that's going to be a lot to compete with.
And they lost Alaba the other day, and also Camavinga, and that might affect the plans that Ancelotti had because he was talking about the 4-4-2. But losing Camavinga there in the midfield, he might have to.
Becomes a lot more difficult to do that now. With him gone.
It's either he puts Modric there, which we don't know if he's available for a full match with Real Madrid in a Clásico, in a final, or he has some problems there in the midfield. And of course, we also have our injuries, but it feels that this year the injuries affect more Real Madrid in terms that we were talking before, that Hansi Flick has maintained the competition in the whole team, and maybe Ancelotti hasn't done it that well.
It's a credit to Hansi Flick, I suppose, isn't it? And you made a good point about maybe Ancelotti not doing that well enough this season. I completely agree.
Here's one that you'll enjoy. Barca are the team from Europe's big 5 leagues who have scored the most goals this season, 152.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we've had the ridiculous stats, haven't we, of what was it, until the Mallorca game, it was in 13 of our 26 games in 2025, we'd scored 4 or more goals.
Yes, that was...
I think it's 22 or 23 games in the 2024-25 season as a whole. Goals have been flowing this year. That front three, have been obviously the big providers of it. You consider the fact that Robert Lewandowski scored 40 goals, and you think, what on earth has happened there? Shame he's injured now, because I don't know how many he could have got.
I think that stat talks about how fun we have had with this team this year. Like the way Barca plays is the reason why we scored that many goals. And we know that here in Barcelona, it's not only winning titles and winning, it's the way you do it. And the team just has performed really well. And we were surprised because the Leganés match was not brilliant. And we were already talking because it has been brilliant the whole season. On the way they were playing, and the fact that they are keep attacking, it brings you that Lewandowski scored 40, then Rafinha also doing amazing, Lamine scoring, almost all the team scoring.
Yeah, they've all been rampant, to be fair to them, and we've had so many great memories this season. I look at the games we've scored 4 in, even that 4-4 at home to Atleti in the Copa, I thought we were amazing. But the 4-2 away to them in La Liga, we've had a great, I think. Almost when I listen to managers' press conferences, the opposition manager against us, they always say Barca have an immense capacity to score goals. And I think you can tell that opposition managers are worried right now because they're coming into the games and they're thinking, even if we're 3-1 up, like Celta were the other day, with this Barca team, when they bring Lamine, Olmo, Rafinha, Lewandowski,
it has happened
Ferran.
Twice this season that a rival does a hat-trick and they don't win. I think that explains it all.
Imagine doing three times. I think.
Girassi and Borja Iglesias.
Borja Iglesias and the Benfica striker.
Pavlidis.
And the surprising thing is, if we'd have been told this at the beginning of the season, you think, well, that's a bit ambitious to think this team is going to become a goal-scoring machine.
Yeah.
Because in the front line, there were barely any changes made to the squad. That speaks also to the great job that Hansi Flick and his staff have done. Olmo,
Olmo and Pau Victor, but it was the only changes. We were talking about almost the same squad as last year, and I think that's incredible because we all thought, okay, Hansi Flick will come here, the team has to grow, and if we compete, it's okay. If we compete all the competitions, we recover the pride in Europe, and that was our ambition. It was all. And if you would have told us, we are talking here about travel and Barca being the most scorer team in the world, all the players and rivals being scared by Barca. It's amazing how Hansi Flick has changed his team.
Yeah. Also, Lewandowski 1 year older, quickly. I think you look at that in the front line. I think Lamine we probably expected to grow year by year. I think we expected his output to grow. Rafinha has turned into some sort of goal-scoring machine until 30.
He's sort of the X factor there.
And Lewandowski 1 year older, I thought, maybe the same or equal to last year. Credit to him, completely pushed his numbers. Best scoring season this for Barca since he joined.
And let's not forget Ferran Torres, who started the season coming off the bench, then got injured, and then somehow turned into a super sub, and now he's starting and he's keeping it up.
Yeah, it has been, it's what we were talking before, like he has improved all the players. You see all the players believe in the idea of Hansi Flick, and that, the other day in the press they were talking, of course, like there were players getting upset, but that's normal because they are competing. I think like for Hansi Flick, it's a blessing. It's a blessing having all the squad wanting to play and not just like the subs, they're like, oh no, I don't want to play because I never play. Like that means like the trainings are in a great level, and they also believe in themselves, and that's what they want to show on the field to Hansi Flick, and I think that's great.
Right, well, you speak of Hansi Flick. Marbrau got to talk to him before the training session. Here's what our coach had to say.
A few hours before the final, we are, as usual, with our coach, with Hansi Flick. Hi, Hansi, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Well, 24 hours for the final, so finally we will play the second final this season. How is the team, and what do you think about the game of tomorrow? What kind of game do you expect?
No, it's a final, and final are special games. So we are one of the best teams facing tomorrow in Europe or maybe in the world. I'm not sure about that, but we want to be ready for that. So the team is good, feeling good. They're very happy to play this match and to enjoy the match, and this is what we want to do.
How important is before a game like tomorrow that we beat them in the two games before? Of course, there were big victories. I know that tomorrow it would be different, but how important will you give to this?
No, it has to give us confidence for that, and of course it's a new game, and it started by 0-0. So we have to be focused because they have really fantastic players, and they can hurt us, and we have to be there on the pitch, and we have to make the right pressure, what we want, and this is what we have to do.
Let me ask you the last one. In Arabia, you won the first Copa, but it was away from more of the fans here in Barcelona. Tomorrow, more than 26,000 people will be here next to you. So if you want to send a message to them, what would you like to say to all the fans that will be here tomorrow?
No, let us enjoy this. Let us enjoy this match. We will give everything. We will fight for that, for this title. And of course also the fans have to enjoy it on the stands, and also to support us. The team deserved it because they played a really fantastic season till now, and we have to continue.
Thank you and good luck, Hansi.
You're welcome, thanks.
The words of our coach Hansi Flick talking about the fans. Hem escoltat a l'entrenador del Barça parlant sobre els aficionats, perquè quan es va guanyar el títol a l'Aràbia Saudita, evidentment la gran majoria d'aficionats del Barça estaven lluny d'aquell partit jugat a Jeddah. Así que, como habéis visto, el entrenador del Barça siendo muy consciente de que evidentemente le da confianza al equipo el hecho de haber ganado los dos partidos precedentes ante el Real Madrid, pero siendo muy consciente de que ellos tienen armas para hacerles daño.
Marbrau there with the multi-language, and the concept that I like of what Hansi Flick said is, hey, we're in this situation, we're in the month of April, let's not talk about pressure, let's not talk about being favourites, let's not talk about being worried, let's just enjoy this. Let's just enjoy the fact that we're alive in all three competitions, and we've got a match in a final against our biggest opponent and a chance to win a title.
That's great. That's what we play for. That's what the fans are here for. That's what, we're Football Club Barcelona for. I always say that, and I get nervous myself, and I think we all do when we have the finals and it gets to this stage of the season. But at the end of the day, this is 10 times better than getting knocked out in the quarterfinals of everything or being way behind in La Liga. This is where you want to be, and I think he's right. Let us enjoy it. I like what he said about the fact that he wasn't hiding from the fact that those two wins give us confidence, because they do. I always think that when people say, maybe do you think Madrid now have an upper hand because it's their turn, but I think having those two wins, it gives you that mental edge to go we know we can do this against you, we know we can hurt you, and that's big. And let's enjoy tomorrow 100%. I think it'll be a great game, and I'm really confident for how we're going to play at least.
I think I said it a few times already this season on Barça Live. Obviously, now we want to win the titles, and if we didn't, it would be a disappointment, obviously, because once you get into this situation, your expectation is to win, and if you don't, of course you're gonna be sad about it. But I think it's going to be one of those seasons in which, regardless of what we win or don't win, we'll think back and we'll think, I had a great time watching the team that season.
You enjoy is what
Pablo.
Pablo, what's going to Paul?
Call him Spencer Paul. If you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
My Catalan, Paul.
Yeah. It's what he said. Like, I think there's no doubts how Barca is going to play tomorrow, and that's what we want this season. Like, we know that we're going to sit in front of the TV, and we are going to enjoy watching Barca, and that I think is the biggest title that these fans can have. Of course, we all want to celebrate any title in the end of the season. If it can be a treble, even better. But we already won having a team that we love how they play and how they have done it this season. They have impressed all the world. All the world is talking right now about Barca being or not the best team in the world right now. And I think it's something we already won, and now it's just time to enjoy. It's the new salir and disfrutar.
It was the thing we were proud of when the Dream Team. Well, you weren't proud of it because you weren't even born. But when
we saw
the Dream
YouTube
Team,
highlights.
yeah, exactly. We saw the highlight in the 90s. It was the Dream Team. Then it was the Right Card team. Then it was the Pep team. Then it was with Tito Villanova and then Luis Enrique. We were proud of the team and the brand of football.
Yeah.
Not so much the results, which also, but the style, that it was recognizable, that we were envied in a lot of places in the world and praised in others. So, yeah, I think we're back there. We're back there after a few years of turmoil, a few years of ups and downs. We're back to being in that situation. Right, Madrid got to talk to Frankie de Jong earlier. Let's remind ourselves of what Frankie had to say to Mac.
This Frankie, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Well, only 24 hours to go to the final. We talked after the game against Atletico, and you said it's a Clásico, always 50-50. But now the game is ready to start. How do you feel?
Good. We're looking forward to the final. That's it. We're looking forward to the game.
For the moment, we beat them in the 2 games before, but I suppose that you're going to say that tomorrow it could be different. We don't want to be different, but how important would be that games that we played before?
I think it's not influencing the game we have tomorrow. Every game against Madrid is a special game, and it doesn't matter in which situation each team arrives or anything. It's always 50-50. I feel the Clásico is always 50-50, so tomorrow will be like that again.
You know how to play that kind of finals, but what is the most important for you? You're coming in a big confidence, being leading the league in the semi-final of the Champions League game, so what has to be the secret for tomorrow's?
No, we have to do what we're doing, what we're always trying to do. Playing our game, being at the top of our game, and then hopefully we will win tomorrow.
Te hago las 2 preguntas en castellano, Frenkie, tú lo decías, no sé hasta qué punto también nos da confianza, aunque será diferente, el saber que hasta el momento contra ellos las cosas han ido.
The words there of Frankie de Jong. Another case of Flick getting the best version out of a player who also started the season injured, like Ronald Araujo. If you think of the other 2 Clásicos of the season, the 4-0, the 5-2, Marc Casador started in those, though Frankie did come on in the second half of that 4-0 and actually made an impact. The team, well, changed the way it was playing in the second half and managed to score those 4 goals at the Bernabeu. But Frankie has been excellent in the last few months.
Yeah, Hansi Flick has had patience with him. We already knew which kind of player is Frankie de Jong and what he can bring to Barca. But I think we're seeing the best version of Frankie since he came here to Barca, and that's great to Hansi Flick. And I think we don't think too much about that. We started the season with Bernal, he got injured. Then we went to Casador, he got injured, and now he has Frankie de Jong, and both 3 they perform at a high level, and I think that's great to Hansi Flick, because having those 3 in a key position in Barca style in that level talks about like having depth in your squad, and that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was speaking to Jong, wasn't he, about the 2021 final here in La Cartuja. I thought he was excellent that season actually for Barca. Maybe his best, but joint with this one, because I think he's regained some, for me, of his best form. And like now when I see de Jong on the pitch, I see that one of the best midfielders in Europe. I see that player who controls the game, who drives past opponents, who I think without possession now is winning possession more for Barca too. Alongside Pedri, they've made a really good pair too. And Pedri's been, I thought, great.
I was going to go to that in a second, because first of all, I remember a part of the season in which, in a post-game interview, I forget which game, Marbrau asked Frankie, it was the Mallorca game, because he'd scored. And this is after the Clásico, and he was still making his way back, but he wasn't starting in that many games. And Marv said, I guess you're happy with the goal and all that. And Frankie said, yeah, but you could sort of see in his tone of voice and with his answer, he's like, I'm not happy with my situation because I'm not playing enough. And yeah, he verbalized it. But then, I guess, he's kept up the hard work. Because slowly but surely, Hansi started putting him in the starting 11. And he started ever since. Granted, Casado is out injured now, so there are less options in midfield.
But it was before Casado that he started.
He'd sort of won the position. And you were talking about it right now. A great partnership with Pedri. When Busquets left for Inter Miami 2 seasons ago, the question was, what are we going to do with the defensive midfielder position? And we brought in Oriol Romeu last season with mixed results. Frankie was tried in that position. And with the new Hansi Flick system, I think that position has sort of disappeared. And it's Frankie and Pedri defend, and Frankie and Pedri attack.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. That debate has been forgotten. You're completely right. Like, I've forgotten about it until you mentioned it now, because it was the big thing of how do you replace the pivot position? Because we've got interior midfielders like Gavi and Pedri. We've got those in galore.
And you regarded De Jong as an interior midfielder as well.
Yeah, I think as a lone pivot, I think De Jong is a player. I think the lone pivot is more stationary. I think De Jong is a player who loves to glide up the pitch with the ball, and I think him in a double pivot with Pedri who controls, and then De Jong can drive. It just works so well. And I really liked Castelló in there too. And I think Bernal was showing great promise. But De Jong, when he's come in, won that position over Castelló, even before the injury, like you said, at the end, has been excellent in there.
Also because, I mean, the Frankie de Jong we loved in Ajax, he was playing alongside with Van de Beek next to him. He was not playing in a pivot position like Busquets was playing here in Barça. It was difficult to find that, and now the problem is next season when Hansi will have Bernal, will have Casado, and will have Frankie de Jong. But I think it's great news, and he has Pedri next to it. Like, he's probably nowadays the best midfielder in the world. Like, what Pedri has been doing this season, he has no name.
Was it true? I think we said it last day. I can't remember if it was you or Adrian. Pedri is the player who had recovered the most possessions for Barca. Was it in a game in La Liga? I can't remember, but it was there. That's that. Pedri's defensive task this season, as well as being the creator, the inspirer, the one who unlocks things, the one that lets things flow. Defensively as well, his work has been impeccable.
Oh, completely. That would have been maybe a criticism of mine from past Barca midfield. I think with the ball, when we're playing in games where it's us versus them in terms of defence versus attack, we look great. But then when you've got to run back the other way, I thought, especially in Europe, we always suffered. And look, we'll see how we do against Inter. That's going to be a great tie, I do think, in that regard too. But Pedri, without the ball, for me, has gone up levels in this season. His ball recoveries, I think they are the most in Europe, Robert. I think they are, alongside some other top players. And like, you probably wouldn't expect that from him. You'd expect the attacking, the creative stats, and he's got those too, by the way. But to recover possession that well, and I think De Jong's done that really well too, actually. I think against Atleti in the second leg of the semi-final, I thought the amount of times those two won that ball back for us when we had our backs against the wall, gave us some oxygen in midfield, was super impressive. And that's something that Pedri's got to his game that for me is right now just pitting him above the rest in Europe.
Well, we've got more stuff coming in this show, and after seeing the first 15 minutes of the Barca training session, let's go to La Cartuja. Marbrau.
We cannot show you right now more images of the practice because I cannot talk too loud because the players are just on the pitch, just preparing for the last minutes, the final against Real Madrid for tomorrow. So we'll listen to Hansi Flick, of course, to Ronald Araujo, also Frankie de Jong, and now it's time to prepare the last details before tomorrow's game. But we have more things here on the pitch in the next minutes, because when the training session of Barca will end, it will be the official photography with the trophy. We can confirm that Hansi Flick and the captain Marc-André ter Stegen will be next to Carlo Ancelotti, and one player of Real Madrid to confirm to take a photo next to the cup. We don't know if somebody will try to touch the cup. We know what happens. I don't know if you are superstitious or not, guys, but I prefer to not touch the cup before tomorrow's game. It will be more or less in 30 minutes when the training session of Barca will end, and after that it will be time to listen to Real Madrid in press conference room, and also they will train at 8 p.m. here in the pitch of La Cartuja. So now, as I said, I cannot explain nothing about what is happening on the pitch, but in a few minutes we will see an interesting image with Marc-André ter Stegen and Hansi Flick next to the cup. let's hope that tomorrow Marc-André ter Stegen will take the championship at the same way that he took in Saudi Arabia with the Super Copa in January.
Of course, whether he plays or not, if we do win the Copa del Rey, Marc-André ter Stegen will be in charge of lifting that trophy. Do you believe in the superstitions of not touching the cup until you won it?
Yeah. I believe in all the superstitions that can be. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I would. Yeah, I wouldn't touch it until it's mine. Yeah, go
just
on
in case, just in case.
Yeah. If they say it's bad luck, why tempt it?
You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking now, yeah.
Why play with it? No. Definitely, let's not see neither Hansi Flick or Marc-André ter Stegen touch that cup today. If they do, we'll trust them anyway to go and win it tomorrow. But yeah, later on, in just over half an hour, we'll be seeing the official photograph of Hansi Flick and Marc-André ter Stegen, along with Carlo Ancelotti and a Real Madrid player with that cup. And later on, we'll be seeing the press conference of Ancelotti, of one of the Real Madrid players still to be confirmed. And at 8 p.m., the Real Madrid training session. A lot to talk about. And guys, we're going to take a quick little break in here, because earlier on, I had a conversation with a Barca legend.
Oh?
Player who's played in 5 different Copa finals, won 4 of them. And this is my conversation earlier on with Ivan Rakitic. Well, joining us here today is Ivan Rakitic, former Barca player. 310 games for Barca between 2014 and 2020. 13 titles and 4 Copas del Rey. Easier said than done, Ivan.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you? It's a pleasure for me to be here with all you guys. So let's go for it.
How are you, Ivan, now? For the Barca fans who don't know where you are, how you are, what's your situation right now?
I'm perfectly. I'm really amazing. I'm now in Croatia, playing for Hajduk Split. First time in my country. So really enjoying and really happy. And try to do my best here in Croatia.
Ivan, I want to ask you about the current team first. What are you seeing this season? What are you liking about Barca this season?
Many things, really many things. I think the guys are doing an amazing job. We are really enjoying the best Barca. I think that all we can be really proud what the coach and the staff are doing. And now it's the most important part of the season, and we have to give a lot of confidence to the guys. But let's. Oh, my dog.
Oh,
sorry.
We have an intruder. We have an intruder into this interview.
Sorry, my dog is playing.
It's very excited, yeah.
We have to enjoy. We have to enjoy with the guys. And, we have to be happy, and that's Barca, and let's push for it.
A very young team, and a good friend of yours returning to the squad today, Marc-André ter Stegen. Good news for Barca, no doubt, that he's got the medical all clear.
He wants to say hello.
He wants to say hello to the dog. He's excited that ter Stegen's back.
yeah, it's only Mark, easy. No, sorry. No, I think for the team it's very important. I think we know how important Mark is. He's the captain. He's the boss of the dressing room. So to have him back just now in this part of the season it's really amazing. I'm really happy for him because he's one of the best friends I have in football. So I think this is an amazing news for all of us. And I'm sure that the other teams, they are not so happy, because this will help a lot the team. Even we are really happy and proud with Chesney. But this will help a lot for the team, and I'm sure it's very, very important.
And Ivan, about this squad, it's a very young squad with a lot of talent. Is there any particular player that you like to keep an eye on?
Many guys. It's really amazing to see all these young guys enjoying a lot, and how they really grow up. I think for me the first name is clearly Pedri, because he's the balance of the team. He's between the lines, and I think when he's dancing on the pitch, everything gets better for Barca. So we have to enjoy him. We have to be really proud that he's in our team. So let's go for it, and wish him all the best luck. And I'm sure that he can do it.
Ivan, in your first season in Barca, you had a situation similar to the one we're in now, which is late month of April. We're alive in all competitions, contending for Copa del Rey, La Liga, Champions League. How do you remember that feeling?
It's what all the players want, you know. So it's the best part. It's a lot of pressure. It's how it is, really. But it's the best. It's the best part. So we are working all these months before to get the situation. So I think the pressure is normal, but the pressure is good. So that's why we are who we are. It's Barça. You have to go for all these games, for all these titles. And I'm sure that the guys will be ready. So it's not so easy, but yeah, they have to enjoy. They have to be happy, and if they are happy, they will do it well. So I'm sure that it will be amazing.
I wanted to do a quick fire round on the finals that you played. You won 4 Copa del Reys. 2015, you beat Athletic Club at the Camp Nou, 3-1. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of that final?
I think this game is quite easy. It's the magic of Leo. Of course, it was my first final with Barça. Really amazing, but what Leo did in this game, it's really crazy, and yeah. It's to remember the whole life.
Is it the best goal you've ever seen on a football pitch?
Yeah, directly in first line. It's not bad to see something like that. Quite sure, yes.
In 2016, you faced Sevilla, your former team, of course, and you won 2-0 in extra time in a game in which Barca had a player sent off. Then Sevilla had another player sent off. So what's your memory of that one?
It's hard to have my games against Sevilla, you know. So it's not easy for me, but yeah, it's another title. I'm really happy, really proud about that, and yeah, even some friends and families that was a bit angry with me, but we worked a lot, and one more title more for us, and will be really important.
In 2017, you beat Alaves 3-1, probably the most surprising opponent that you had.
Yeah, but this is the nicest, the best part of La Copa, Copa del Rey. Copa del Rey, all of us expect this big game in the final, but there you can see that also the other teams they are doing well. So yeah, it was a hard game. I remember really well because before the game, everybody expects that it will be very easy, you will win and everything. But it was also a bit a different pressure. But we enjoyed a lot, and I think we deserved also this victory.
And the last one that you won was in 2018, a very special one, 5-0 win against Sevilla, and there was one big name in that final, of course, as well.
It is. First of all, not easy again against Sevilla, but yeah, the big name was really clear. Was Andres Iniesta, was really amazing. I think one of the biggest guys in football history. And to do it like this in the game with this goal and everything was really important for him, for us, and yeah, for all coolers. And it was an amazing night.
It was definitely an amazing night. Ivan, I'm going to let you go because your dog is clearly very excited about this Copa del Rey and wants to intervene in this interview.
Want to play a lot.
He wants to play, but I wanted to get your score prediction for tomorrow.
I think it will be very hard. I think the most important part is to get the title, to bring it home to Barcelona. This is the most important part. Even after 90, 120 or penalties, we don't care. But yeah, let's enjoy about big football, great football, a lot of opportunities for sure. The stadium will be amazing. So let's enjoy and hopefully just get this big win and the title back home to Barcelona.
You'll be rooting for Barca from Croatia, yeah?
Of course.
Thank you very much for being with us here, Ivan. It's been a pleasure to talk to you and best of luck for the rest of the season.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. A Barca legend, Ivan Rakitic. Just such a nice guy. We did an interview in Spanish. We did an interview in English. He was fine with it.
And the dog.
Yeah, there was a dog that was very excited to be a part of the interview as well. In Croatia, best of luck to Barca legend Ivan Rakitic, who 13 titles, 4 Copas del Rey, 310 games for Barca. Just an amazing Barca career.
He knows how to play those finals, Ivan Rakitic, and let's hope his words also help the team tomorrow because, of course, he brought us many titles.
Yeah, Rakitic was a great player in almost all of those Copa finals. Yeah, in every single one of them, I remember some big shifts from him actually. And right throughout all of his time at Barça, I thought he was excellent, Rakitic. I really do. And what a great midfielder for us. Added balance to midfield, also scored big goals. Talking about big goals.
Talking of big goals, yes, that was the one that he referenced when I talked to him about the 2015 final. I did want to ask you guys, same game as with Ivan Rakitic. Obviously, now you have a cheat card here because we're seeing the highlights of the 2015 final that was played at the Camp Nou with that fantastic Leo Messi goal. I'll always say the second best goal of Messi's career. Before seeing this highlight, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the 2015 final of the Copa del Rey?
I think the fact
you can say the Messi goal.
Yeah.
The Messi goal, of course. But the fact that it was at Camp Nou as well was special, really special. Like to see all those culés, in the stand there made it extra amazing. But of course, the Messi goal. I remember when I watched it, I went absolutely crazy because it was such an insane goal, actually. And I'll tell you what, the second and third goals were really nicely built too. Actually, the second one was, I think, maybe even an assist from Rakitic himself. So it was some great goals.
Yeah, I mean, I think you cannot separate this match from that image of that goal of Leo Messi.
That's not a bad image either.
Yeah. And these two, I remember because those finals, like my mom is from Bilbao and all my family is from Athletic Club. So I remember living those finals with a lot of intensity. And my family is saying, can you stop? Like, we can just leave it here, please. And I have great memories from those matches because it was extra special for me, like being the only one from Barça alongside.
Sort of the same situation that Ivan Rakitic was describing with his family because he obviously, his wife is from Sevilla and her family are from Sevilla. So half of his family is basically from Sevilla. He played for that club and he had to face Sevilla twice in Copa del Rey finals. And he said, yeah, obviously you're defending your club, but it's a sad feeling at the same time that you're defeating the other club that you love. Before we see the highlights, I know you struggle sometimes for memory. So if I ask you, 2016 final, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
The Jordi Alba goal.
Okay.
Because that was the moment for me. And you have to remember, we were playing with 10 men for an awful lot of this game, Suffering. So I remember watching this in my bedroom, really suffering, And that goal from Jordi Alba, wow, the little ball over the top from Messi as well, and the finish. That was the moment for me. I was like, we could actually do this, so.
Think of that, Pablo? 9 years ago, you were watching a Copa del Rey final from your bedroom, and who would have told you that 9 years later you'd be here, working for the club?
Exactly, dreams come true.
Irati, we'll give you the cheat card because we'll show the highlights of that 2016
That's better, because I mix finals, I mix games. Like, my brain is not made for that.
It was a 2-0 win against Sevilla, and a complicated final because Javier Mascherano got sent off in the 35th minute of that game, and Barça had to play with 10 players most of the final.
Yeah, this.
Also, Suarez got injured.
He did. Yeah. Oh God, this was one. Yeah, this was one that you were thinking this isn't going to go our way. You really were, and Sevilla piled on the pressure, and that's what leveled it up.
But
91st minute though, Vanega.
This team also had that aura that it felt like many things could happen, that they will manage, and it had something special also.
There's the Alba goal, and we'll see the second goal, which was Neymar off of a Messi assist, which I have to admit had faded from my memory. Once I saw it again, the pass by Messi here. Oh!
It's such a lovely
and
goal.
And how he slows down
patience,
everything. Yeah.
It's such a lovely goal. It was literally the last second. There was a little breakaway, and look how perfect that is. Those two linked up brilliantly always. This is one of my favourite Copa del Rey finals, because we've won by quite big margins in a lot of them. That one we really suffered for. And I mean, there were so many moments in that game where I was like, this isn't going to be our night, like I said. And I think the way we came through, overcame adversity, had to do so much work without the ball in that one, throwing bodies in the line. I remember some amazing blocks in it. And those two moments with the goals there in extra time were brilliant for me. That's one of my favourites, actually.
Facing all sorts of adversity with the Mascherano sending off, with Luis Suarez getting injured a season.
And going to extra time with 10 men.
Going to extra time, exactly, with 10 men, and just getting it done then. A season in which we won both La Liga and the Copa del Rey, which is an outcome that we'd be happy with at the end of this season. Although, of course, let us dream right now if we're alive in all competitions. Pablo,
yes.
I think Irati might remember this one as well. 2017, we beat Alaves 3-1 in the Copa final. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, I'll tell you what, an incredible free kick from Teo Hernandez comes to mind.
Yeah.
Absolute screamer of a free kick from him where I was thinking, what on earth has happened there? And the final of Alcácer.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say. I always remember that one as the final that Alcácer scored in. He had to play because Suarez was out.
Yeah, Suarez was injured. Yeah, like he got injured in the previous final as well. And big shoes to fill. Luis Enrique went for like a natural striker rather than rearranging Messi to false nine and putting a winger in and got on the score sheet.
Any memories?
No, my memories are like just they see. But I remember the celebration and how I felt. But
let's give Irati something to jiggle her memory there.
When I see it, then I remember, but I don't link the years.
A fantastic Messi goal to give Barca the 1-0 lead, close to the half-hour mark. Look at the goal, just trademark Messi finish, curler into the bottom corner. A fantastic finish, the 1-2 with Neymar there, the setup by the Brazilian, and just fantastic shot. And that's the free kick you were talking about, Pablo.
I remember when this went in, I thought, dearie me. Because we had this was a tricky season for us, actually. We had some great games in this season, but
that's the season of the 6-1 comeback.
Exactly, and the 3-2 against Madrid in La Liga. But we'd been knocked out of the Champions League, of course, to Juventus, and I think by now, if I'm not wrong, Robert, I think we'd lost La Liga by now. I think this was the end of the season.
This was the end of the season,
right.
End of May.
Wasn't like now,
it was a roller coaster season.
Yeah, and we needed to win this one. And like Rakitic said, everyone expected Barca to win it too because you're playing Alaves. And to be fair, when that third goal went in, which, by the way, I didn't mention it, the run from Messi for the assist for Alcácer was actually wonderful, and it was a really good finish too from a good deadly striker in Spanish football.
And the title lifted by Andrés Iniesta and Sergio Busquets. It feels like an eternity ago. This was 8 years ago. The final one that Ivan Rakitic won was 2018, which was definitely a special one because of it being the last final for Andrés Iniesta, and that's the thing that will always come to mind for me in that final. The fact that he got to play it, he got to lift the title, he got to score in it.
It was the perfect ending.
Yeah, although it did come in April, he played more games after that. But
but everyone was thinking he had to finish like with a title, and that season was incredible because it felt like a super long goodbye. Like alongside the season, it was amazing.
Well, you won't remember this, guys. I don't think, because we get the timeline mixed up with time. It wasn't actually official that Iniesta was leaving, but everyone sort of knew. The press conference came the week after, but it had started to get leaked, and everyone sort of had a feeling that, okay, this is probably Iniesta's last final. We'd been knocked out of the Champions League by Roma. And if there was any doubts, the tears of Andrés Iniesta on the bench when he got substituted dissipated all sort of doubts. Let's take a look at the highlights of that first final at the Metropolitano, 5-0 against Sevilla. One that I'll always remember as well for that great pass by Jasper Cillessen from one end to the other. That's the one to Felipe Coutinho. 2 goals by Suarez, 1 by Messi, 1 by Iniesta, and a penalty goal by Felipe Coutinho, who actually played very well in that
He did, yeah. We were still sort of in our 4-4-2 structure, and he played off the right, Coutinho. And I must say, I put these highlights together. I'm not sure what Sevilla were doing so high up the pitch in the 10th minute of a cup final against Barca when you've got Coutinho, Messi, Suarez up front.
It doesn't sound smart.
No, it was just like, you don't really see that these days, actually, and that was lovely again, by the way. The little Alba-Messi connection always brings joy to me.
And that, the setup by Messi. The link up between Messi and Jordi Alba.
It's a special link up always.
And this goal as well, by the way, look at this one-touch pass, bang through the middle. And Suarez, deadly. His first pair of goals in a Copa del Rey final for Barca too. His only goals.
It was a young Dembélé in the bench.
Yeah, Dembélé on the bench as well, of course, yeah. And this is the moment.
This is the moment. That one that we'll remember. It's a quality goal, by the way, set up by Messi. Iniesta with a little hint that he's going to take the shot.
Yeah, To be fair, in games, I think this season we hobbled through a lot of games, but I think there are also certain games where, in the big ones, we really turned up the heat. That was another one of those. I thought we were excellent on this night and really turned things up. This was the moment where Coutinho thought he'd scored and then it got pulled back for a penalty, and by Lenglet of all people. Yeah. And then Messi let him have the penalty.
Coutinho with the penalty that made it 5-0. Fantastic performance in the final of 2018. The following year, we lost it against Valencia. Then 2021, we won the final against Athletic Club with no fans, and that a special moment as well. Something that you saw in all stadiums, really. Andrés Iniesta being applauded by the opponent fans, and the last trophy that Iniesta lifted in a final. He then later in that season lifted the La Liga trophy as well, but no doubt
it's one of the most special goodbyes I've ever seen in Spanish football.
I agree with one of the longest goodbyes as
Yeah,
well.
it was all the season, like in all the stadiums, they were everyone standing like applauding Iniesta, of course, because he gave a World Cup to Spain, and that made it extra special. But it was incredible, like it felt like the eternal goodbye.
For me, it's always going to be a special one as well, because I was involved in the special documentary that we came up with to say goodbye to Andrés Iniesta, where we had all of the players meet up in La Masia at the auditorium, watch highlights of Iniesta's career. We recorded their reactions to it and edited a video there with interviews of the players speaking of it. Iniesta, and being a part of his farewell is always going to be one that's in there for me, and I have to admit there were a tear or two in the farewell game as well at home against Real Sociedad. Andrés Iniesta, a fantastic career, by the way. He's got a new book out, so you can check that out. And guys, we've spoken of finals of the past. Let's focus on this season, on this season's run in the Copa del Rey, and take a look at what has brought us here to the final.
Punto de pitar el árbitro al inicio de una nueva competición para el Fútbol Club Barcelona. Combina para De Jong, De Jong la pone muy larga para Araujo de cabeza. ¡Gol! ¡Gol de Eric! ¡Sí, señor!
Towards that post, and Barça have a second. Robert Lewandowski.
Ya está en el partido, porque de hecho ya está atacando otra vez, como ha acabado también la primera parte. La tiene Lewandowski.
Serà el gol de Pablo Torre, i Pablo Torre que fa el 0-4. Surten els blaugranes, un partit a que no creu, una final a vuitens de final entre aquest Barça-Betis buscant un lloc als quarts de la Copa.
Olmo trying to get this into the path of Gavi, he scored! It takes just 2 minutes and 45 seconds for Barça to open their account.
Sin molestar al rival, es no dejarle respirar. Balón que deja pasar Koundé con Lamine para Koundé.
¡Gol! ¡Sí, señor!
¡Qué golazo! ¡Qué golazo!
Sí, señor, l'has visto. ¡Qué jugada! Toma ya.
Pilota que refusa ara. Uau, que bé Lamine se'n va fantàsticament per velocitat. Vinga, som-hi. Arrenca també Rafinha. Som-hi, Rafa, la pot passar. Encara aguanta Lamine. Se'n va de tothom Lamine. Lamine, ui, entre l'àrea, pilota per Rafa, gol, 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 gol.
To Olmo. And his teammate in space. And that low drive goes in for Barca's ball. Ferran Torres. Fresh onto the field of play.
Pero bueno, a veces los equipos en esas etapas. Va la Villamal que le quería dejar a Mauricio, pero no, va directo a portería. Sube, sí señor.
No puede ser. I va Vitor Roque. El xut. Oi! Gol del Betis.
And the referee have mercy on Betis. He calls an end to this contest right on 90 minutes. The final score, 5-1 win.
Tot preparat a Mestalla, protagonista sobre el terreny de joc. València i Barça busquen ser el quart equip ja en aquestes semifinals un cop conegudes. Les victòries fa una estona de la Real Societat per al Real Madrid i l'Atlético de Madrid. Per tant, semifinals que serien de luxe.
Good ball behind by Valdez and Ferran Torres. And Barcelona leaves so early on at Mestalla.
i va Rafa. Rafa que busca Lamin al pal. El segon xut Ferran. Gol. Really impressive in January. Another ball from Pete. This time it's Fermin. It should be 3. It is 3. Barça are running riots at Mestalla. There it is again, ball in behind Rafinha. It's Ferran Torres on his hat-trick. Ferran, he's got his hat-trick. Incredible scenes here at Mestalla.
Rafinha dentro del área. La deja para la Lamine Yamal. ¡Qué gol! Hace un pase directo a la red.
5 gols més que marca el Barça aquesta temporada i bitlleta semifinal. Sobre el terreny de joc, a la muntanya màgica, preparats per viure el que ha de ser un autèntic partidàs. Nova edició d'un Barça Atlético, amb una eliminatòria doble partit.
19 goals to have made, was on the end of it too. And there he is again, and this time he does score. Wow, inside 1 minute, Barça are behind.
Ojo que va el Atlético de Madrid. Mira, es un buen pase de Julián a la espalda de Griezmann dentro del área. El francés Griezmann, el disparo y otra vez se cuela en la portería de Chesney.
Minuto 5, ya 6 de partido, 0-2. 2 zampazos del Atlético de Madrid.
Here's Lamin. A good ball towards Jules Koundé, who's in here. The fullback is in towards Pedri. Barça pull one back. And it's Pedri who scores again against Atlético de Madrid this season. Game on.
Se m'acaba d'encendre la llumaneta. Ahí compta l'estat. Feliç em fa. Atenció al centre.
Lo que ha hecho Barça en la primera parte, ahora la tiene Lamine Yamal en el tiro del área, se mete hacia afuera. ¡Y gol!
These final exchanges, that's a good ball back to here, and there you have it, 4-3. Íñigo Martínez cannot believe it. That has opened up this tie. Well, what a game we've had tonight.
Compte la passada, ha guanyat perfectament l'esquena, pot venir el 4-4 a l'Atlètic, atenció, Sordo, segon pal, gol. Acaba de marcar l'Atlètic per acabar d'arrodonir un partit absolutament boig.
And it looked as though they were going to be going to that second leg with a 2-goal advantage. It would have been a wonderful 2-goal advantage, but again, defensively, they've let themselves down.
Esto es una final, sí. El cartel pone semifinal, pero nadie se lo cree. Esto es una final entre el Barça y el Atlético de Madrid. No hay margen de error. El equipo que gane se clasifica y tiene billete directo para ir a Sevilla, una ciudad que ya sabéis que tiene un color especial, para el día 26 de abril. ¿Quién quiere ir? Pues hoy lo veremos en el campo, porque hoy quieren clavar en el campo los dos equipos. ¿Será el Barça de Hansi Flick o el Atlético de Madrid del Cholo Simeone?
La tiene Pedri.
Y para Lamin, el baile de Lamin dentro de la... Con rosca fuera.
Presagio de nada bueno. La tiene Rafinha.
Rafinha para Lamine Yamal. Ahí está Lamine Yamal.
¡Qué buena!
Para Ferran. No llega, sí llega. Sí llega. Ahí está. Se la llevó el tiburón. No pare, sigue. No pare, sigue. Gol de Ferran.
Comença la segona meitat.
Principado de Mónaco y más o menos han ido copiando los resultados. Ojo, ahora balón profundo para Sorlo.
Y fuera. Y se va.
Y fuera.
Y cuidado porque el Atlético de Madrid en esa segunda mitad está cambiándole la cara al partido.
He went for it. Now Fermin. Big chance for Rafinha, who's in. Rafinha. Oh, he had Fermin in the middle.
Saca el córner del Atlético de Madrid. Salta Szczesny. La tiene Pedri. El 94. ¡Se acabó! ¡Se acabó! ¡Se acabó! ¡Se acabó! ¡Se acabó! ¡Vamos!
A la final de la Copa del Rey de fútbol. El Barcelona que vuelve a llegar a la final después de 4 años. El Barça que podrá optar a su Copa número 32. Ferran Torres, este Barça que vuelve a tener una cita con la historia.
What a run it's been in the Copa del Rey. No defeats, 1 draw against Atletico de Madrid. Goals galore because we scored 4 against Atletico in the semis in the first leg, 5 against Valencia, 5 against Betis, 4 against Barbastro.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic Copa del Rey run, guys.
Yeah, 19 goals we've scored up until this point, which is very, very impressive. We were talking about the goals we've scored this season, how many times we've scored 4 in a game. I mean, a lot of them have come in the cup games. It's been an incredible run. I mean, the 2 legs against Atleti are obviously the ones that stand out to me, but even the game against Betis at home I thought was really impressive. But I mean,
coming after the Supercopa.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't have much time to rest, long flight and whatnot, but naturally those semi-finals against Atleti, I thought we showed like 2 sides to our game over both legs, and I thought we were excellent in there. Like, what a spectacle those were.
But we also show how to come back, and the mentality of this team that you were talking before, that it doesn't matter how it starts, that you know this team is able to turn it down. And we saw it in the first leg, like it started bad, then it went well, and then it ended bad, but in the second leg we show another team. So it has been amazing. We just need the prize.
Right, we'll talk a bit more about those semis against Atletico de Madrid, because I do want to talk about them. But Marc Brau is standing next to Football Club Barcelona's president. Marc.
A la prèvia d'aquesta gran final de la Copa del Rei, Barça-Madrid a la Cartuja, ens acompanya el president del Barça, el senyor Joan Laporta.
We're next to Barça's president,
a tots els culers, senyor
Joan Laporta, to send a message to all the culers.
Sí, clar que tinc ganes, perquè a tots els culers
Yeah, of course I'm excited.
a punt de sortir de Barcelona o de tot el país o de qualsevol punt d'origen, el que desitjo és que tingueu molt bon viatge, que sigueu prudents, els que veniu per carretera.
Yeah, I mean, the message I send to them is, depending on where they are, if they're about to leave Barcelona or, you know, that they have
desitjo que tingueu molt bon viatge
a great trip.
I bé, us esperem aquí a
And look,
Sevilla,
we're waiting for you here in Sevilla.
que tots units fem força, animem aquests jugadors.
Together we're stronger. Let's support these players and the staff, because they'll give everything.
I que ens volen donar una alegria.
And we want to give them some joy.
Que tingueu molt bon viatge, us esperem aquí
So look, have a good trip. We're waiting for you here tomorrow at the Cartuja. Visca el Barça.
Amb l'optimisme habitual, el president Laporta.
With the typical optimism
cap a tots els aficionats del Barça. Aquí us
Barça
esperem,
president Joan Laporta.
Always optimistic, our president, Joan Laporta. I think excited about an end of the season which might be reminiscent to him of 2009, maybe?
Yeah, he's excited, but I have seen a change in the declarations of the president, like also saying humble and like, let's enjoy this, like similar to the message that Hansi Flick wants to say. We have the right to dream about the treble, but let's just enjoy what we have ahead, and what we have first is that final of Copa del Rey.
President that's visibly excited.
Yeah.
We saw it in his body language. There are reasons to be excited.
Yeah, it was a little rallying cry from him, wasn't it, to all the fans and whatnot who are going to make their way to Sevilla to support the team. And like you said, you know, the staff, the players, they'll give everything, you know, and I completely agree they will. And I think we as fans, you know, have absolute confidence in them. And it's nice to, you know, see the president there, you know, in good spirits ahead of the final. He seemed very happy and smiley, so I like that.
Right, we were talking about the semi-finals against Atletico de Madrid, and Pablo, I remember a few months ago now, we were sitting downstairs, must be like 2 months and a half ago, waiting for the Copa del Rey draw, and we were in a situation in which it could have been Real Sociedad, it could have been Real Madrid, and it could have been Atletico de Madrid, and there was a division of opinions on what was the best outcome. I think no one was particularly pleased that it was Atletico, seeing as they'd beaten us in the league game with that late Sorloth goal back in December. Cholo Simeone, always a tough side to play. And if we take a look at the highlights, they took a 2-0 lead in that first leg.
Yeah, I remember that draw as well, Robert, because we all got confused because we thought we'd been drawing against Real Sociedad as well. Because of the order they did it in confused us all.
They drew the two home teams first.
They did, yeah.
So Real Sociedad and Barça were the first 2 home teams, and we thought here, because we were watching with no volume, that they were drawn against each other.
We were all talking as well, and everyone was like, oh, Real Sociedad, everyone was talking like, oh, and I think as Real Sociedad got drawn home as well first, we were like, okay, we've got the away leg first.
Yeah,
well.
exactly, yeah.
It ended up being home leg first, second leg away, which is always going to be tough against Atleti. You know, that's not an easy draw by any means. I think going to the Metropolitano, especially after drawing the game in the manner that we did, that's never going to be easy, to be fair, and credit to the players. I thought first leg, incredibly superior after going 2-0 down. Brilliant. Could have scored 6 or 8.
Yeah.
And then they scored 2 against us in the last few minutes. And then the drive and the way we fought in the second leg, I love that.
Why don't we take a look at the highlights of that game? Irati, you were going to say something about it.
Yeah, I was talking that game, I think like if you're a neutral like a spectator, it has been one of the best football games this season. Like it was incredible. I remember we were here in Barça Live, that Julian Alvarez first goal, like it came all of a sudden, like it was the first minute. Not even the first minute, and it was incredible because it looked like a very, very dark night, but it's what we're talking about this team. They know how to come back from difficult situations, and I think Barca did a brilliant half hour after this. That it was amazing, and that's why they turned it out. And I think Atletico de Madrid has been the team that he has put more difficulty to Barca this season.
No, 100%. Well, I've been surprised with how well we've done against Atleti this season, because they are such a good side defensively, obviously, but we've scored so many goals against them. And I think we haven't just scored so many goals, we could have scored so many more. We've played so well against them in almost every game. The 2 ones at Montjuic, for me, are the main ones where I thought we were absolutely rampant. Like going 2-0 down to Atleti, same as when we did it in the league, by the way, at the Metropolitano. I usually think, from past experience, that's that. And with this Barca team, you figure out that it's never the case. That goal was such a special moment.
It was a very special moment,
It was the first one, right?
Yeah. But this is what I'm talking about. Like Ferran had great chances in this game today. It wasn't just the goals in this one. Like, we hammered them really, and I think that's why we left it at 4-4, going like we're not really sure how that's happened.
Yeah, also because like Barca came back and we were relaxed, like knowing this is going to be okay because the wars that already happened, you know. And it was a special game because we normally don't see like defenders scoring. It was first Cubarsí, then Íñigo Martínez scoring, and here it felt like the match was ended, you know. And even it felt like Barca was already in the final. But we've seen Sorlo this year; he has been extra motivated against Barca. And those changes, and also Barca. I remember Hansi Flick's press conference after this game saying, "We know we have to learn how to sleep down the games because Barca at that time was attacking, and that's why Atletico de Madrid could draw it, and it was just a crazy game."
I actually think we've learned from this game.
Yeah.
I really do. Like in terms of closing out some games, like Leganés, for example. I think this. Everyone associated with Barcelona would all agree we were brilliant, we were excellent, but that can't happen again. Like you can't be 4-2 up and just give the game away like that. And I think Flick, Íñigo Martínez, just saw visibly upset, and then it gave us a job to do in the second leg.
Second leg, which was a performance that is, I think, underrated this season. How Barca basically didn't allow Atletico de Madrid to be any sort of threat. Barca came out, got the job done, first half, created chances. Ferran Torres put the ball in the back of the net, but most important of all, we didn't suffer at the back.
Yeah, I felt like we can't play the progression of this team with the games they have playing against Atletico de Madrid, because the first one in La Liga, it was brilliant, and we lost it because the team was not there. The second one, we saw a great mentality of Barca, like coming back, but then not knowing how to close the game. And this third one was like, okay, now we learn, we know how to play this kind of games. And Barca just did their job and didn't allow Atletico de Madrid or Cholo Simeone to change it in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a bit of a game of two halves, more in our approach. I thought we, again, were very good in the first half, and then second half, had to suffer. I thought we showed great attacking, capabilities in the first, and then the second really had to defend and dig in. Without Atleti, like you're saying, Robert, without them having really many clear-cut chances.
That Sorloth chance we saw was the clearest, and
best,
granted it hits the side of the net, but yeah.
I know, this is it, final,
Yeah,
that's all there was. There was a lot of pressure from Atleti. Like they were building a lot, but it was mainly a game of containing likes of him, De Jong, Pedri winning the ball back in midfield without Szczesny. I don't think Szczesny made a save actually.
No,
he didn't. That was a game he didn't make a save in. So that's as all. I think Cholo Simeone will be upset about that. But in terms of from our point of view, great defensive play without the ball.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Irati, that Barca's season's evolution you can explain through the Atletico games, because we lost the first one playing great football and not finishing at the end. Second one was the Copa first leg, go down 2-0, then react and then...
Not knowing how to close.
Not knowing how to close it. Knowing how to close the La Liga game, which was in between, going down 2-0, but then coming back. And then just calming things down in that final game, that 1-0, just when we thought that all of the Barça Atléticos were going to have more than 5 goals in them. One of the protagonists of this Copa del Rey run has been Ferran Torres. We talked about him before. He was given the starting job in every game, I believe, in this Copa del Rey, and he is joint top scorer alongside Endrick for the competition. Let's take a look at Ferran Torres' run here in the Copa del Rey. The goal that he scores against Atletico. Ferran Torres is 2025, by the way, has been fantastic.
It has been brilliant. I think it has been the best Ferran Torres we have seen this far with Barca shirt. And he has been a super sub, but he also has known and learned maybe to bring that football when he's starting. And it's what I was saying to you before when we were talking about the lineup. I think even Robert Lewandowski was fit. Tomorrow, Ferran Torres was the striker, because he has been the striker even in the semi-finals, starting before Robert Lewandowski. I think Lewandowski only started against Barbastro and one of the Atléticos, or only 2 starts in the whole season in the Copa del Rey. Hansi Flick has it clear, and he has also shown that he's a great starter. And I think Barca plays different football when Ferran Torres is in, and that kind of football can help a lot against Real Madrid. And also he's the Pichichi in the Copa del Rey for the team.
No, completely. I think you're right, Ati. I think we are a different team with him in the team. I think with Lewandowski, he's obviously got that ruthless knack in front of goal where you know you can pop up with big goals and big moments. With Ferran, he offers you more like running in behind. I think this is his first goal against Valencia. This is a great example of him. Look at that, points where he wants it and just darts into space there and then gets a nice finish away. If Real expose themselves at the back and push forward tomorrow, those are the spaces he's going to want to exploit, and he's going to be saying to Pedri, to Olmo, to those players who've got the capabilities to pick him out, to Lamine, who assisted him, of course, for the Atleti goal, to say, get the ball behind me because I've got them there, And I think that's what Hansi Flick will be asking of him tomorrow. 17 goals in all competitions this season, by the way. He's got 10 in the league now. It's the first time in his career he's ever scored 10 league goals whether that's in England or Spain. So he is having an important year under Hansi Flick, and it wasn't looking like that was going to be the case at the start of the season, and his importance has grown massively.
You talk of his importance in terms of the runs that he makes into space, trying to get in behind defenders. I think he's also a very important element when he starts in that number 9 position, in terms of leading the pressure, in terms of that high press that Hansi Flick likes to play. Keeping the opponent
that will be important tomorrow, because the defenders that Real Madrid has fit right now, they are not the best taking the ball from the back. So that pressure that maybe Lewandowski cannot bring you because of the age and because he's a different kind of player, it will be really important, because we've seen Asensio struggling there, and we've seen all the defensive line of Real Madrid. The same Mendy will play; he's not completely fit. So I think Ferran Torres can bring not only goals, but all the other dark work that also the strikers of Barca need.
Yeah, absolutely.
A great run by Ferran Torres. Right, let's focus a little bit on our opponent tomorrow, Real Madrid. We heard question after question after question to Hansi Flick and Ronald Araujo saying, you beat them twice, you beat them twice, you beat them twice, you beat them 4-0, you beat them 5-2. I think every game has its own story. But Barca have shown this season that they know what to do against this Real Madrid. And there've been a couple of lucky turns in games, I would say, as well. Let's not forget that in the league game, Kylian Mbappe's first goal is disallowed by basically a toe. Barca played an excellent high line in that game, and they played the offside trap fantastically, and that was one of the storylines. Mbappe offside 6 times. But sometimes it is just like little margins and situations that can change games, and Barca took advantage are the ones that change the game in favor of Barca?
I think in the Super Cup, Barca was just way better than Real Madrid. But I think La Liga 1, the result is a little bit tricky because it was huge, the result. But I think Real Madrid was there, and we saw all those offsides, and they could have like scored and then reduced, and then Barca took profit. But that's also part of the game, and I think Hansi Flick has learned and has studied a lot Real Madrid this season to just know how to beat them. And it is also true that Real Madrid hasn't won against big teams this year, this far.
Yeah.
But it's also true that you listen on the street, like people saying, and I think that's also part of Catalan culture and how we are. Like we are worried, like, oh, but we won too. So by a statistic, maybe they have to win. And we listen to Hansi Flick. I've never lost a final, and we already won, and that has to show us that we can do it in a final again. And I think it can be really special because in the Super Cup we didn't have the fans next to the team.
Let's take a look at that Super Cup win against Real Madrid. Let's take a look at the highlights of that 5-2, that first title of the season in which Barca came out guns blazing, guys. I mean, they've shown if there's any script that we dream of for tomorrow, it's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Us three were here for this one, I remember. It was in the studio. This was even before any of the goals went in, by the way. And I remember Mbappe scored earlier. We had great chances. And yeah, you are thinking at this point, Madrid go 1-0 up in a final. Maybe you're in trouble. Great goal from Mbappe. I remember they broke away from, I think it was one of our corners.
But I remember we were like quiet here, like we knew the team was playing well.
Yeah, because it was weird, because that's what I said. We had two amazing chances within 5 minutes, and it was like, okay, but we've gone 1-0 down, so we didn't really know how to feel about it. But we kept on coming, and it was like, surely it's going to go in sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we had that feeling, like even though Mbappe scored, we will go to find, and this was amazing. I think it was after this or another goal, Lamine saying, I save the goals for the big games, and he showed up there in the final, and we all thought on Leo Messi there with that diagonal.
It was absolutely ridiculous goal.
It was amazing because it felt the goal didn't want to enter for Barca, and it ended up entering with Lamine, and after that, it was just a brilliant game.
Yeah. I mean, what a moment. He is a big game player as well. I mean, and we're hoping for more of that again.
And we saw there the fact that Araujo had to come on for Íñigo Martínez. Here, the clear penalty on Gavi that had to be reviewed by VAR. Robert Lewandowski, who will not be in the final tomorrow, of course, will be replaced, presumably, by Ferran Torres. We'll see. Yeah. He put it into the back of the net, and from here until the end of the first half, it was all Barca, really. It was a quick double punch like it was in La Liga as well. Here, Lewandowski scored in the 35th, and that delivery by Cudeta Rafinha. I mean, just the second game of the season in which all members of the Tridente scored, by the way.
It's difficult to score the best goal of Barca in this final.
So, I mean, there are some crackers here, aren't there? That is so good. I mean, obviously the one we put forward is the Lamine one, right, as number one, but like, wow, look at that. The assist and the header. And yeah, we just didn't stop here, did we? And I remember Madrid then had a corner right at the end of the half, and they gave it away here, and the rest is history.
And here the fourth goal by Alejandro Balde, well fought by Rafinha, and Balde putting it into the back of the net. His first ever Clásico goal as well, and he had quite the final.
And that movement of Rafinha is
lovely.
Outstanding.
Rafinha with the assist there, and then he'd go on in the second half to score the fifth goal. Not before Rodrigo gave us a bit of a scare there with the volley that hit the post. By the way, first Clásico for Szczęsny as well, who got sent off later on. And here's the counter-attack in which Barca make it 5-2. One touch by Cazador and Rafinha. Another great cutback to his left, putting it across Tchouaméni, and then the finish in front of Thibaut Courtois. Rafinha, two great performances this season against Real Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, he's been almost Barca's like guy this season, really, Rafinha. I think he's become one of like the faces of the team, really.
Yep.
And when that goal went in, I mean, I think we were all thinking, how many is this going to be here, eh? Because it's chance after chance after chance, and then that red card changes everything.
Yeah.
And they score from the resulting free kick, and we're all here looking at the time going,
I started suffering. It's crazy after
over
this.
30 minutes to go, and Madrid only need 3 goals, and that's not an awful lot for Madrid often when they're playing against 10 men, but we defended brilliantly. This was the closest they came. What a save, and that was already an extra time.
Well, it's always a joy to watch highlights of when we beat Real Madrid. So having seen how we won the Super Cup against them, why don't we take a look as well at that league win, which came late in October at the Santiago Bernabeu with an iconic result at the Bernabeu. 2015, we beat them 4-0. 2022, we beat them 4-0. 2024, we also beat them 4-0. So if we can show the highlights of that game as well, it was one that we will always remember as well, the game of the the first Hansi Flick Clásico, the 4-0 win at the Santiago Bernabeu, which also showed us ways in which Barca can harm Real Madrid. The risky high line, but then the combination of De Jong and Pedri overpowering the Real Madrid midfield.
I think we have seen different Barças against Real Madrid this season, and that also makes it more complicated to Ancelotti to figure out what he's going to face, because in the past we saw the solution of Araujo, and Ancelotti didn't know really how to stop that, but here is what we were talking. I think this game was more open than the other. Like, Real Madrid had their chances, but Barca was just persist in all the touches, and I won't say it was luck. It was Barca being more precise than Real Madrid, and here the first goal of Lewandowski. That
the pass by Cazador.
That's one of my favourite goals this season. Yeah. I love it. It's like a defence splitting pass, and the touch and the finish. He's almost passes it into the corner from outside the area.
And I talked about the double punch before, and here as well, it was 53rd minute, 55th minute. Barca getting it done. Lewandowski with the brace, wonderful cross by Balde, and a header put past Lunin, who played that day, in goal for Real Madrid. And the rest was history almost.
Yeah, and I think after this game we started feeling like this team is special. Like, it's going to be a cracking season.
We'd beaten Bayern Munich 4-1 that week. We were coming off of a 5-1 win against Sevilla as well. So it definitely felt special. Here, Robert Lewandowski made a hat-trick. That was one of the clearest misses of the season, one that he will probably still remember.
I remember that, and I thought, please don't be that day. And then just a few minutes later, we got the third, which isn't going to come now, actually, because before that, Lewandowski had another big chance from his standards. I think the first one was easier than that, but
and we were like, we hope we don't remember about this in the end of the game.
I know, it's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. Exactly, because here it comes.
And here it comes, the Lamine Yamal goal. His first ever goal in a Clásico, although in an interview which we recorded with him in late December, he said, well, I did score one other goal against Real Madrid, but there was a camera that wasn't working and it didn't count. So, here his first official goal, the first goal that counted for Lamine Yamal against Real Madrid. A fantastic finish. And Rafinha scoring the fourth in a fantastic run. A lovely little finish over Andre Lunin, and 4-0 at the Bernabeu.
Who played that ball?
It was Inigo.
Was it? What a ball that was. I never even realised that was Inigo who got the assist for that goal. Well,
a fantastic game for Barca in what was a great month of October. November and December then followed and weren't as great, as Hansi Flick put it. But yeah, we've beaten them twice this season. We'll see what the outcome is tomorrow. We hope, of course, for a win, but Barca have shown that they know how to harm Real Madrid, and they've not done it at home yet. We'll have faced Real Madrid 3 times this season, and none at home yet, but we'll have to wait until the 11th of May for that. Right, let's go to Sevilla, because Mar Brau has some latest news.
Hi again, guys. Just a few minutes ago, I told you that it was expected that at 7 p.m. It has to take a photo, official photo with the trophy, with the captains of Real Madrid and FC Barcelona, with the coaches, Hansi Flick and Carlo Ancelotti. It was expected that that photo had to be at 7 p.m., so 20 minutes ago. But finally, as you can notice, there are no photos official, and we can confirm that now the Federation, the Real Federación Española de Fútbol, the Federation of Spanish Football, said in an official statement that Real Madrid told them that finally there will not be any press conference here in the stadium, and finally there will not be also any training session here at La Cartuja. It was expected to be an official press conference with Carlo Ancelotti and a Real Madrid player, and then at 8 p.m. and we would be prepared to offer the 15 minutes of the training session of Real Madrid. But finally, the Federation of Spanish Football said that Real Madrid told them that finally they won't be here. So no press conference of Real Madrid coach and a player, and no official training. So let's gonna see what could happen in the next hours. What we can explain is that Barca players are just now in the locker room, just trying to finish the training session and then direct to the hotel to be rest and then prepare the game for tomorrow. What we can confirm is that Barca will be here at 10 p.m. in Spain to start the game and trying to win the final against Real Madrid. So these are the latest news. So we will finish the program before than we expected. So now time to rest also a little bit, because tomorrow will be a very interesting day at Barça 1. From 10 a.m. we will be here live from Sevilla, explaining an interesting day with more than 26,000 people and Barça fans here in Sevilla to be next to the team trying to win another Copa del Rey.
Well, there you go. We were going to show you the Real Madrid press conferences and the Real Madrid training session and the photo with the captains and the coaches next to the trophy, but that will not be happening because Real Madrid have decided that they're not going to appear at the stadium today, so we hope they do tomorrow. I think
not,
we'll
and
refrain.
We get the title.
Yeah, I think we'll refrain from commenting.
Yeah.
And guys, we'll look forward to tomorrow because busy day tomorrow. As Mark was saying, busy day on Barça 1. We're doing a live show from 10 a.m. in the morning, local time here in Barcelona, coming live from La Cartuja, from Barca's hotel, from the fan zone, and we'll be here in the studio giving you all of the Copa del Rey final related content from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Barça 1. Then we'll start live on YouTube and Facebook, continuing on Barça 1 as well, from 7 p.m. with the game preview, with all the pre-game information that you need. And then, of course, as always, Barça Live to follow whatever happens during the game. A busy day tomorrow, guys, an exciting day.
Finally here.
Yeah, everyone get yourselves ready. Make sure you're there from 10 in the morning. I know all the culés in the chat will be well up for it. So one of the biggest days of the season, what's there not to be excited about? Hopefully a great game of football, and we've got loads of exciting stuff to show you two in the day. So tune in.
Irati, you're not joining us tomorrow, so I want to get your guess the score, your score prediction.
My score, I'm saving my boys for Sunday because it's also a big game for the women's team. 2-0.
2-0 for Barca, of course.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Pablo, I'll get yours tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll go, since we've got a little bit of extra time because Real Madrid are no-showing this, we'll go downstairs and prepare a little bit of content for tomorrow.
Yeah, let's crack on, yeah.
Right, guys, tomorrow we're back early morning on Barça Live and 7 p.m. on YouTube and on Facebook as well. 10 a.m. rather on Barça 1. I'll get it right at some point. It's the Copa del Rey final, guys. There's just over 24 hours to go. It's exciting times. Join us tomorrow. Visca el Barça!
Escucha el beat,